All right, everybody, welcome back to AIMBOT. I am so excited for the show. This is a series of games that I've wanted to have on for so long, and I finally made it work, got everything settled out. And so these are probably like the definitive start of where my interest in like FPS games came from. You know, this is Call of Duty 1 and 2 and 3 and the Medal of Honor series, but that's something else. I played those games with my dad when I was younger. He's a big history guy, so it was fun for him getting to see all of the, all the history stuff that they got to show off in each game. And then as it transitioned into more modern stuff with Modern Warfare 4 Modern Warfare, whatever. He just kept playing them, and we kept, every time one came out, we would go through the story co-op. So yeah, I think that's definitely where a lot of this started for me. And so I'm, again, very excited to have this on. First up, we have Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered by Russian Zone. Russian, go ahead and take it away.
Oh, thanks. I've been running this game for a little over a year now. Took a big break. Started with the any percent with Recruit. Moved on to Veteran, kind of smashed that out, and then moved my way on over to the other games. And then as my commentator, we also have Kluger, another big runner in the community.
That's me. I've run a bunch of COD games over the years. Did this one almost a year ago now. So
yeah,
I'll be running COD 1 after this.
Yeah, not really much else to say about this.
Yeah.
I think we just dive right in. All right.
Go ahead and count us in whenever you're ready.
Yeah. We'll start the timer on big white flash screen after these annoying cutscenes. I'll give you a little 3-second countdown. 3, 2, 1, start. And we're off.
And so most of this is going to be like, especially in this first level, we're just doing objectives fast enough that all the dialogue stacks up. So you don't need to be doing everything as fast as you possibly can, but just enough that you keep your teammates talking. That's it.
That's a shame.
And that's a pretty common thing throughout the game, just managing teammates and managing their movement, all their dialogue and things like that.
Yeah, just running really quick to the objective, waiting, and then doing it again for the rest of the mission.
Now I'm going to make the targets pop up one at a time. Hit all of them as fast as you can.
And for that, you only need to hit, I believe, 7 objectives, or 7 targets, but I just hit 8, just in case I can't count ever. We just do these objectives in a little different order to just stack them.
Yeah, so as long as it's done before they get to them, it's all the same speed. So then we get the first showcase of the movement techniques, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Briefing. I guess it's the most similar to like Quake movement. A little different to the sort of more popular CSGO things, but you have to. There's no. You don't keep your speed after a strafe jump, so the turning motion increases your speed, and then you sort of have to start all over again every time you land.
Right. What the hell kind of name is Soap, eh?
I'd say would you say it's similar to like Portal 2?
Not really. So, because Portal 2 is sort of like CSGO, and like in those you keep your speed like by bunny hopping every time. This one, there's no bunny hopping, as you know.
Good luck. On my go, I want you to rope down to the deck and rush to position 1.
Get to sit here and listen to this nice little speech that Price does.
Then hit position 3 and 4.
And this is another one where he tells you how to go through each area, so as long as you hit all the targets fast enough, you just wait for his dialogue to complete. You only need to complete this in about 15 seconds. And it's as
this
fast
course
as it
is
can be.
not my specialty, as you can see, because there are so many just like small
The
ledges
doorways.
and the doorways that you get stuck on.
Sprint to the finish. That's a new squadron record, Soap. Not bad.
Okay, that was good. I didn't actually lose any time on
Climb
that.
up the ladder if you want another
Yeah.
go.
Pretty good.
Otherwise, come over to the monitors for a debrief.
can go to the monitors.
The cargo ship mission is a
Sit
go.
there.
Get
Just run around.
Wheels up at
It seems
0200.
Miss Soap here was kind enough to join us. Go. This is
Wait for this to pop up. Select recruit.
It's a purely optional like obstacle course over there.
Yeah. They had a bunch of cool things in the remaster.
Yeah, I like that. They let you take your grenade launcher into the F&G course as well.
Yeah.
You do some stuff.
I reloaded into Crew Expendable. Just a I don't know, kind of annoying mission.
It's pretty cutscene heavy level.
Very cutscene heavy. There's probably about 45 seconds of actually doing things.
Yeah, they tend to start out this way, the COD games, where at the beginning there's a lot of like just showing off the game and like talking around stuff, and then as you get later in, there's a lot more action and more interesting speedrun strategies.
Yeah.
Weapons free. Bridge secure. Hold your fire. Guys, stay in the berg till we secure the tank.
There's also a weird thing that I guess we'll show later on here at the end. But in this game, there's certain areas where if you don't look at your teammates, they just move faster.
It's
'Cause that comes up a few times.
yeah. I'll explain that in a second. I'm about to use that here in about 30-ish seconds or so.
Tango down. Ready, sir.
Wait here for Price to do his dialogue so I can get him in the proper position in a little bit. I hope that works. Toss a couple grenades through the windows. Clear out all these enemies so our teammates don't get stuck.
Yeah, it's not even a necessary objective, is it? It's just that they might shoot
No.
your teammates and then they slow down.
It just like it slows down your teammates occasionally. That's just a little barrier we like to get rid of. And I'm also gonna be checking my mini map on the right side there a lot, looking at specific teammates.
Basically how you keep track of your teammates moving without potentially slowing them down by looking at them.
And Price was in a really good spot, so I just threw a grenade at him to make him run faster. That's one of the only areas in the game you can actually do that. If you throw grenades at your teammates normally, they will just either stop and run away, or run away and stop.
They have really
And-
funny reactions to them, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like
So
even
this
if you
is the-
throw it really well. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, very good. This is the first area where you can see my teammates are kind of moving a little bit faster. If I look at certain sections, I guess, or in certain angles. I'm gonna do, there's two more in this level here. And then another big one in one of the later levels. And I have no idea why it works.
It's from what I've seen in other games, it seems like they have predefined like areas of the map that your teammates will just speed through. But I have no idea why looking at them stops it. Like I guess they don't want you to see your teammates being fast. They want them to just like sneakily catch up to you. Just to smooth out the experience, I'm not sure.
No tangos inside.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But this is the second area here. And it makes it a little bit difficult because this boat keeps swaying. And so I have to keep like looking around. This next area here is the big clear area.
Clear left. Movement
Pretty much the main area that actually matters on this level is
Yeah.
clear out every enemy as fast as you can and your teammates move up. There's a few like that throughout the game. Most of it is either move from point A to point B as fast as you can or clear out all the enemies in a certain area as fast as you can.
Hopefully I just don't get meleeed. Wow, that guy was being very nice, actually.
Very considerate sometimes. And yeah, melee is the biggest risk in these games. For some reason, you can get shot 4 or 5 times and you're pretty fine. Get meleeed once and you're full red screen. Very low health.
Alright, there we go. And this is the final area.
strong reading, sir.
So I have to do a little funky maneuver where I have to have both my hands on my keyboard and wait for Gaz there. So I'm holding tab and W and A to push myself in the corner as far as I can.
It's in Arabic. Baseplate, this is Bravo 6.
Do a little waiting, and this is gonna be a big running sequence here.
No time, Bravo 6. 2 bogies headed your way fast. Grab what you can and get the hell out of there. Fast movers. Probably mixed. We better go.
So, grab the manifest in the container. Move. All right, everyone topside, double time. Warcraft, Griffin, what's your status?
Already in the helicopter, sir. Enemy aircraft in. Bravo 6, come in. Bravo 6, what's your status? What the hell happened? The ship's sinking. We've got to go now. 6, come in, damn it.
Big Bird, this is Bravo 6. We're on our way out. On your feet, soldier. We are leaving.
One of the most memorable lines in the game.
Careful. Move.
Move your asses. Come on, let's go.
And you get some funny movement here where you like can't really sprint.
Yeah,
Still
so
trying to go as fast as
this is the
possible.
first instance of wall running or wall riding, however you want to really call it.
That one is very similar to like Portal 2 or CSGO, where you push up against the wall and walk diagonally into it. The angle you look at affects your speed.
Yeah.
It's not super useful because usually walls are sort of too far out of the way, or wave jumping is like a very similar speed and more direct line quite often.
Yeah, so whenever we can't strafe or sprint, and we have a wall next to us, wall running is the best alternative that we have. Oh, I actually got a really good helicopter there. There we go. And we get a nice little pretty cutscene. You look at price for a little bit. And there goes the boat.
Package secured, returning to base. Out.
So I guess I could take this time to go over like the big differences between the remaster and the original.
Yeah. Most of my knowledge is in the original, so
Yeah. The biggest differences are, one, that the game is really pretty now, and
we skipped this
just
level.
we skipped this level because it's just an auto scroller. You just sit there for 4 minutes and 45 seconds, and
Just
um,
an entire cutscene in a level.
yeah, it's just all one big cutscene. So we just back out, go into blackout. Oh, it was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be. Alright, well, I guess if you want to explain this a little trick here, Kluger.
So yeah, you need to get under this bridge like as fast as possible, and as soon as you hit this area, Price and Gaz will just teleport up to you, saving you much of time. But if you're too slow, like it just doesn't work anymore. So gotta do that as fast as possible, and they save like 20 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, I think as long as you get to the end of the bridge in under 20 seconds, you're fine.
Yeah,
Pop a shot right in front of
Holy
Gas and
gas.
stop and have a Price go in front.
because Price is the one that opens the door, so we want
Yeah,
to go first.
Price is the one who does everything. And we're just gonna take a nice tour of this house here. You know, you got the bathroom next to the dining room and the kitchen. Little bedroom.
I always like to do the dishes while waiting for Price here.
Ah, yes.
Knock everything into the sink.
Put them in the sink, throw down some claymores. And we just kind of book it up to this hill, to this next area that they're about to get to.
Price is busy talking to Kamarov, but we're just going to go complete the next objective while they're
Yeah.
doing that.
And I stand in this specific spot because if you move any farther up here, for some reason, they don't like that. And they'll get really upset and just not move for a little while.
There's a lot of really, really funny specific things like that in the remaster.
Yeah, there's so many very tiny details, like how I left one enemy alive so we could run back, trigger more enemies that would appear a little bit later in the level, so we can just move along the entire mission faster. It's just like, that's this entire game, is just learning every single little tiny detail that affects the game massively for no reason. I do a little lineup here, the grenade launcher to take out these two guys in the window and complete that objective.
The grenade launcher is also like the best weapon in this game. It's full movement speed. It's the funny thing is, even when you have the assault rifle that the grenade launcher is attached to is a slower weapon than the sniper or SMGs or anything. But if you pull out the grenade launcher on that gun, it's now fast. So as well as being very useful for clearing enemies quickly, useful for turning that weapon into a fast weapon.
There they get to moving.
Make it quick, Kamarov.
So this is an instance where, depending on where you stand right here, they can start moving faster. And that was actually really good. Now it's just a matter of clearing this hill. And as long as you stay behind this car, there isn't a second wave that spawns in.
Interesting.
There we go. And because I cleared out a certain amount of enemies, we just got that immediate dialogue trigger. And we cleared out those 3 guys in the roof. So that completes the next objective.
Those 3 guys in the roof would usually spawn quite a bit later. Because they want you to clear out the hill and then turn around and clear out down there.
And then do another sniping section where you take out a certain amount of enemies.
Yeah.
But by triggering them to spawn earlier, by leaving that one guy alive, that just kind of negates that entire section. And now we just take out a couple guys that will get in our way, especially this one behind the door. I don't know if he was actually taken out, but perfect. 1 grenade launcher shot left. That's what I need.
Let's go.
So now we're gonna take a certain line across this little field here, make sure Price and Gas take the fastest route.
So very rarely they will, your teammates will just follow the path you take, but it's not very common. But this is one of those areas where we want to take a very specific path. It gives them the fastest path.
Well, that was unfortunate. Guy blocked my grenade launcher shot and then got almost one shot by a Dragonov. Kill these guys manually. Price is there. Where's Gaz?
I don't think Gaz needs to be there. I think they're just moving.
He does for this next section. Oh, there he is. He's so... I actually haven't seen that before.
I don't think I have either.
He is so far behind. Yeah. And now I'm just going to clear out 2 enemies in this building, hopefully. Okay, maybe not the second one. It doesn't really do anything besides save about 0.1 second, where you just don't have to shoot the guy while you're running through the building.
Yeah. Just saves a little extra shot.
Yeah. And
It's
it
nice
tells you to
having
put on
hit
night vision
markers, though.
goggles, but you don't need them. So you basically just run up, clear out every enemy as fast as possible. I stand in this spot because it makes Gaz and Price move the fastest that they can. And you want to run into that room to trigger Price's dialogue with Nikolai.
And then he carries Nikolai back here, walks with him.
Yeah, and then you just kind of wait for Price to sprint on over to the helicopter.
And you don't stand under the helicopter as it lands and lose a water record.
Yeah. That'll happen a couple of times. And now we just kind of sit around and wait for Price, which is something we're going to be doing a lot over the next hour and a half. The only good redeeming part about that is that we only have to wait for Price, and Price is actually kind of fast here. So we just spam jump to get in the helicopter, and the gang's suddenly all here.
The Americans already attacked Al-Assad.
No, their invasion begins in a few hours. Why?
The Americans are making mistakes. They will never take Al-Assad alive.
All right, that was Blackout. So now we load into the biggest barrier into any speedrun, especially on the original.
Yeah, there's a huge skip on the original that saves 3 minutes, but that's not possible there.
Yeah, if you can't do it on the remaster, we found out a skip that saves 45 seconds instead. which is another big one, which I'll go over as I'm doing it, kind of. But and just nice place to take in the scenery.
They really were showing it off in this game.
Yeah, especially back in 2007 when they made Call of Duty 4.
Yeah.
They're like, how many pretty pictures can we fit into this to show off just how good our engine is? So you just run up to the door,
pretty nice
complete the
at the time.
objective, and you just grab this chair and you
I
just kind of
did-
push it around.
I thought that show was solid.
No.
Learn something new every day.
And you just kind of push it through the door. You do that for a little bit of good luck.
Blow the charge.
And this door you can actually stand right next to without taking like any damage, really.
If you do it on the next door, you die.
Yes.
Nice and inconsistent.
And so we just clear out some enemies, run through.
Call signs. Check the
Pick up
Oh,
this
we haven't
shotgun.
talked about kill triggers yet. So when you exited that building,
yes.
it just cleared out every single enemy in that area. So quite often we want to exit an area as fast as possible and hit that kill trigger, and that way it just opens the area up for allies to walk through as fast as possible.
Heads up. I just got word that outside is broadcasting happened.
I got to bully it really hard there.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
really
too.
concentrating to make sure I didn't hear a grenade or anything.
Target building in sight.
And so this is another kill trigger I just hit.
Yeah, so now the whole level is clear of enemies, and now we just have to wait for the teammates to walk through.
Yep. And I kind of just stood there because I'm not sure if it's placebo effect or not. But Vasquez can either be normally fast or he can be 30 seconds slow.
Yeah, that's one of those strange
And
things.
I'm not sure really what causes it. Vasquez seems to be really slow. So,
I wouldn't be surprised, I'm just taking a wild guess, if it's similar to some of the other games where if you go at like the wrong pace, they'll teleport backwards and like have to rerun a certain section. When it's suddenly like a huge time loss like that.
I would agree
I'm
with you,
not sure
except that
yeah.
Vasquez actually just moves slower.
Okay. Yeah, this game has some strange things.
Yeah. So that's
Another solid garbage bag I didn't know about.
another prop that you can just move. And we're just gonna do some hopping around. Oh, I missed.
Good. Get him.
There's Vasquez. He's gonna teleport. Or not. Interesting. Okay. He usually teleports about 2 feet.
I think they
Mouse.
did fix War Room soft lock in this game. I don't know of anyone that's had it.
They did.
Yeah. It's rare enough that like maybe everyone just got really lucky and hasn't had it yet, but I'm pretty sure
No.
it doesn't exist.
The amount of runs I've had. There's no way it hasn't been patched. So yeah, now that Vasquez has finally showed up at the party, you cannot stand in front of that door, otherwise you will die. And this next area is basically just go in and clear everybody out as fast as possible, and hopefully your teammates will do something.
Yeah, so it's
Just clear out
there's so
like
many
one
enemies.
or two enemies.
Yeah, there's so many enemies spread out in so many rooms and hiding behind things. It's super helpful when your teammates actually get a kill or two. Makes everything go a lot more smoothly.
And that was almost bad, as it was in the middle of an animation for
Yeah, if
his second melee.
you hit that second one, you might have died. That would have been very close. The health system is also very strange in this game. When you get hit by a melee, you get put down to like 2 HP, but when you're that low on health, you're kind of just invincible for half a second or so. So you can sometimes take a lot of shots that don't seem possible. Or, like you might live getting shot like 10 times, but if you get shot 3 or 4 spaced out the correct amount, then
Yeah.
a lot more damage.
All right, and here's our skit for CDS, which saves 45 seconds. Basically, I get in front of Vasquez and the other teammates, and I throw 2 grenades at them to make them run backwards before they hit a certain trigger to cause our other teammates to spawn in, aka Griggs. Oh, good, I got it.
And so you get to this trigger first before they get to the previous
Yep.
one. And we just skip.
And now I just shoot in front of Griggs to make him stop moving. because you need both Griggs and Vasquez at the final checkpoint. And there he goes.
Yeah. They have to complete their dialogue before Griggs realizes he needs to go that way. Otherwise, he would have been running backwards.
Griggs, turn that off. Command, this is Red Dog. TV station secure. No sign of Al-Assad. The broadcast is on recording.
Yeah.
Over.
Score 1 for military intelligence.
Roger that, Command. Out.
Yeah, now we just sit here and wait for about another
Rally up.
Something better.
15, 20 seconds.
Ready to move out. Let's go.
Yeah. Hoorah.
All right.
Toughest level's coming up next. Does Bulk still have the checkpoint stuff? Like the original game, where you can get checkpointed back to the beginning of the map from the very end?
Not that I know of.
That's a very nice fix.
Yeah, Bog is still probably the most annoying mission in the game.
Yeah,
and there is a line right there. If you pass, you just die instantly. And so we have to stay behind that broken car.
Also, if you get past it too quick, it slows your teammates down.
Yes. Okay, Royce, you're kind of in my way right now. And so this entire area is just about clearing all the enemies in these couple rooms here and hoping for good dialogue.
The AK is also one of the best weapons. It has slow movement speed, but it does a lot of damage, so it's very, very useful for clearing out areas like this.
If I turn my back here, it should... There we go. Oh, I'm not even in front of the door. Turning your back there at the door triggers dialogue faster for some reason.
This is another...
Godo explained it, or Blue explained it, but I don't really remember why, honestly.
There's another area here
this game is weird.
Yeah, that's the answer to a lot of questions in this game, really.
And also, I'm going to take the time to blow up some of these cars, because if the cars are on fire, your teammates don't want to go near them, fun fact.
And the trigger they need to get to progress is past the cars, so yeah.
Yes.
Gotta
And
be
this is
careful
another
with that
spot
areas.
here, which I found recently, where if you turn your back at a certain angle, right about here, your teammates will move faster. Does Vasquez want to do his dialogue? Okay, there it is. Now, Private West is dead. F. Then we have to pick up a javelin and finish this mission. We will hide out right here just so we don't get shot or blown up by RPGs, or hopefully not meleeed from the back, which can happen sometimes, and you just can't do anything about it. And we'll kill these tanks as fast as possible, and then I will immediately turn around, which will hopefully make my teammates faster and have my teammates in the best spot to open up this next gate, which doesn't seem like it worked. Shame.
Yeah, teammates will kind of just randomly move around, or one of them might die and respawn, and it picks random people to open the fence, so you just lose time here.
What are you doing? Nudge my mouse there a little bit. Whoops. Apologies. Now we're just going to stand in front of our teammates, get pushed to the fence, and rush all the way to the next objective. Nice RPG. Oh, nice. And basically our entire job right here is to clear out these enemies. Oh, no, come on. Come on. Okay, there we go. If you don't clear them out, the game will mission fail you. and you'll be put back to the next, or to the last checkpoint.
Yeah, it says you abandoned the tank or something unless you get like 3 or 4 kills.
And I was just a little bit too slow there, so I didn't get the best dialogue options. Basically, we're going to stay in a specific spot where the next objective is to plant down the beacon for the helicopter to come in and rain fire. And we're going to run all the way back here behind this wall and kind of just look up at the bridge.
Pretty much just wait for the end. I think we teleport some allies closer by sitting here.
Yeah, by sitting here and waiting for the objective to update, after a bunch of dialogue and a bunch of waiting, we will cause all your not enemies, teammates, to teleport to the objective next to the tank, and all be right there instead of having to wait an extra 10 or 15 seconds for them to run over there.
All targets destroyed, we're out of here. Good luck, boys. Out. Command, LZ is secure. Bring in the engineers and let's get this tank moving. Roger.
And you can see them all teleport right there.
Good work. Out.
Just run around. There we go.
We'll take up defensive positions around the bog. Here, here, and here. And buy the engineers some time to get
Stand around and playing some fire. And that was probably one of the more annoying missions in the game.
And it went pretty well. Could be a lot worse.
Could be a lot worse.
Those random RPGs can be very dangerous sometimes.
Oh yes, and all the random grenades that they can throw around. So now we get to Hunted, which is about 3 minutes of just run to objective, wait for teammate, run to objective, wait for teammate, wait for Gaz to open up a door.
There is at least one area clear or 2 in this level, but it's all before your teammates get there. So
Yeah.
This is the do it fast enough level.
Yeah,
Pretty
this
much.
is... And it's really nice because this level you can actually take your time with the big area clear at the end. And as long as you don't take over, like, basically a minute and a half,
Paulson and both pilots are dead, sir.
you will still be saving time.
I like having some of these sort of slower paced levels in the middle of the run. Breaks up the action a bit. Like, feels nicer for
Yeah.
me to play it anyway, that way.
My only problem is that all the slower levels are in Act 1,
Yeah.
as well as
That's a common theme.
all of the RNG, basically. Which happens through, I think, just about every single Modern Warfare game.
Almost every COD game even has a lot of slow paced stuff in Act 1.
Oh yeah, they do tend to treat these games like a movie.
Let's move.
Yeah.
So just
all
all
the
build up,
introductory
build up,
stuff.
build up. Trying to make sense.
COD 1 that is actually like one of the outliers. The first act in that is very fast paced, almost no
Just all
downtime.
action. Yeah. Now we're just gonna clear out these enemies here before they can hurt this very nice farmer. And we're gonna pick up the M1014 and
This
some
shotgun
ammo.
is busted. It's so strong.
This shotgun is probably one of the best weapons in the game, if not the best.
Yeah. Very good. Good movement
I
speed.
would say that the AK-47 is the best weapon in this game, but it's nerfed in the remaster for some reason.
Oh, really?
It just does not do as much damage, which is the only reason I keep the M4.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because
Yeah,
M4
the short-
supremacy.
The shotgun is like a single pellet hits someone. I don't think you even can hit marker people with it. It just works all the time. It's very nice.
Now we
Push
sit
Gaz
here and
into
wait
his
for
position.
Gaz to open the door. And I'm just going to take my time walking through this house because you have to wait until Price enters the basement to
Yeah, so
get the objective to update.
if you exit the house, I think even if you enter this funnel room before Price enters the basement, then you just
Nah,
soft lock.
it's if you move past like that car.
Oh, really? Okay.
And fun
Must
fact,
be
it's not a
slightly
soft lock. You can just go back and make him enter the basement anyways.
That's actually very different to the original game. It's
Yeah.
in the original issue, enter that room too early, then it's just over. You have to restart.
So now this is our first big area clear, and we're just going to take out every single enemy, and hopefully our teammates will move up quickly. So now where's Price? Oh, good prices in the beginning, in the front of the pack.
It doesn't look like they know where we are. Let's keep it that way.
Hey, also, fun fact about this mission, it's supposed to be entirely, like, stealth-based.
That's not how we play.
But that is not how we play. Even in the veteran version. Kind of run through everything here. Your teammates will mop it up.
Big fast while stealthy is usually doesn't work that way. Look at the range on that shotgun. It's amazing.
Now this is our second area clear. That's a nice grenade behind me. Ready my M4 for a stinger. Wait for
Also,
the
I should
helicopter to
mention
come around.
the AI in these games is sort of impressively random. Like you can't. No amount of experience can prepare you for what they might do sometimes.
Every single run is just a curveball.
Yeah, they
Like, it
spawn
is
in
so impressive how they design these. This is actually really good, though.
Oh, nice.
Gaz in front with Price behind.
Captain Price, we've got Stinger missiles in the barn.
The Price will just now keep moving up to the door. You can have it where your AI teammates will just stay back and take another 30 to 45 seconds for some reason, or depending on the order. Also, here's another little cool skip. So you're supposed to wait for a bunch of dialogue, but if you kind of just stay back a little bit and shoot at the tank, you can skip all that dialogue, or most of it. There we go. Copy coming down. And now we have the AC-130 on our side.
Very nice.
So we just veer right to avoid being shot by the AC-130 and just run to the end trigger here. And that was hunted. And now we come to an 8.5 to 9 minute auto scroller.
I think it's one of the more iconic missions that people would remember, but for a speedrun, it's a bit.
Yeah, this is probably the third most iconic mission, I would say.
So I guess I'll just pop in with a question.
Sure, go for it.
Why do you not skip this one, but you skip the coup from the beginning?
The coup is just a straight up cutscene. Well, this is actually no gameplay and has randomness to it, so the time varies.
So yeah, you can lose time to getting unlucky, or you can do something incorrectly and lose time. So the coup it's skipped because there's just no gameplay at all.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I figured. I was just curious. You know.
And so this area is just, I forget. Flicker, do you want to explain? Because you remember all the requirements for this.
Oh, do I? This is not a level I'm great at.
You wrote the document, like.
So you have to kill a bunch of enemies. There's several waves you have to clear out before certain timestamps, and then your allies will check at those timestamps and then move up. I don't remember all the timestamps right now.
I think it's
12
enemies before it gets to 121.
And they do give you a very convenient timer here, which helps a little bit. And don't shoot the church.
Yeah, do not shoot the church, otherwise you will mission fail.
Yeah, so sometimes you want to leave some enemies alive, so they sort of group up, and then you wait for the next timestamp, clear them out at the right times, just to get your allies moving as fast as possible.
There we go.
And then sometimes your allies will get stuck on an enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the big RNG section of this mission right here. Even though it was mostly fixed in the remaster, it is still just terrible. You can lose 35 or 40 seconds for just no reason.
So you want to clear the second wave of people. So your allies don't check until about 2 minutes on the timer, and you want to have the area cleared. But if you don't do it at the right time, it will just keep spawning like the next wave of enemies.
Even if you do complete it at the right time, it kind of just says no sometimes.
Yeah.
Such as, or there can be one that spawns on the way back right there, like that. Looks like I'm gonna get the default rolling in. Yep. So that right there is about 25 seconds of time loss. And now we just wait for another minute before they start moving around again.
Crew, do not engage any vehicles traveling on the highway. Those are civilians. Ground units are requiring alternate transport at this time. Do not engage any vehicles on the highway unless cleared to do so. Bet that guy's pissed. That's a nice
I don't know. We got about 5 minutes. Amy, if you want to ask any questions about this game that you're curious about.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just like how, so with a lot of the like looking in specific places to speed up your allies, you know, how do you figure that out? Like, is it just you notice that they sped up at certain points?
I literally just stumbled upon it by accident playing crew.
Lots of trial and error.
Yeah,
there could be more of those that we haven't found yet because they're very obscure sometimes.
Yeah. But all the ones that I found, I was just doing a bunch of science for Crew Expendable to make price faster in the beginning. And so, also, there's the water tower. Yeah, no, I just noticed that they were moving faster and just spent about 30 minutes testing why. And kind of just stumbled upon a couple areas where they could move faster if you're looking away from them. We're gonna come up in about, what, 4 or 5 missions? I think 4. The biggest example of it, if I get unlucky enough to show it off, where your teammates will actually run at like Mach speed.
It's on Safe House. And so yeah, you want to do it fast enough that your teammates are still close to you when you reach the objective and they turn around. If you slow down too much, or if any number of factors happen, they just at light speed run across the map and then have to turn around and walk back at normal speed much further.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned in chat earlier that your DPI is like 4,800. How big is your mouse pad?
So I
doing
run
the movement.
On a standard mouse pad. If anybody really is curious, I think I play on like 5 or 6 sensitivity in game. I run the default Windows 6 sensitivity. And then I run 2000 DPI normally. So my sensitivity is insanely high for most people, but...
And I actually play without a mouse pad.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Most people don't like that, but...
Wait, like, so it's just like on your desk?
Yeah.
Huh.
You have the OP wooden desk, though.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd use like a no mouse pad on like a glass desk or something. That probably...
But yeah, it's just, I'm, you know, constantly in awe of like the movement that's being done, you know, during all the running sections, because it's just so smooth.
Yeah.
You know, and I imagine the practice for that like takes a long time to get right.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that's after
it's
hundreds
one of those
of
things
hours,
you're always getting better at it too.
Yeah.
Like, I would say there are very few people that have actually mastered it and perfected the
mastered
technique.
is a strong word. Yeah. Like, I don't think anyone has mastered it. You can always improve a little bit. Just one of those insanely high skill ceiling things, like bunny hopping in any other game.
Yeah.
So are there any regarding this mission? Are there any like theorized ways that you could trigger stuff early, or is it really just an auto scroller?
It's
Like, could you hit an end trigger early or something by shooting something?
There's no real theories about
no.
that I can think of, because you're stuck up in the plane here, so there's a lot less ways to interact with the level and break anything. And even to start with, most COD games are very, very stable. Like, there's very few glitches or sequence breaks or anything like that. I don't think there's any sequence breaks in any COD game.
No, there are none. And there are like very few out of bounds that are especially even useful. Like
Yeah.
there are a lot in games that you can use to get out of the playable area, but not to get back in. And
That's
so
pretty impressive, honestly. Like,
Yeah, the COD games are very well made.
They're
respect.
extremely well made. But the only downside of that is that you do a lot of sitting around and waiting.
yeah.
COD 1 is actually going to be one of the best examples of a broken COD game, but I go out of bounds maybe 5 times in that run.
Yeah.
So,
If you really want a good example, anybody watching, go watch the Advanced Warfare World Record.
yeah, that one's broken.
That one is quite broken. Yeah, no, so that now that our teammates are exfilling in the helicopters, that's Death from Above over. A 9-minute auto scroller.
And now we're back to Bog Part 2. Warping.
Yeah, now we're back to Bog Part 2, which is literally just how fast can you run? And then wait.
This one's actually like the greatest example of RNG, I guess. It's like the tank has, I think, 8 spots it wants to shoot, and it will actually like roll dice on how long it takes to shoot each shot, and then but you can lose up to 20 seconds just on that.
Yeah, the way that the tank operates in this mission is extremely well made, actually, but also that's bad for us.
Yeah.
Because it has about 6 areas that it checks for enemies in before moving up, and then it also rolls the dice on how long it waits to shoot every shot.
So extremely rarely, I've had the tank shoots a building out, but then one of the enemies in that building goes into last stand from the tank shot, and I've lost like 15 seconds because the tank waited for the enemy hiding around a corner somewhere to die before it moved on. That's very rare, though.
Yeah, it can happen.
Competent developers are the bane of speedrunners, I guess.
They
Making
really
it
are.
difficult for us.
Making the game too stable. Making it so you can't sequence break. Can't even really go out of bounds. There's only 2 out of bounds sections that we do in this entire run, and they're both on the same level. Yeah, now that we've just kind of ran up to the objectives, cleared everything out. Wait for this breach. I wasn't even paying attention to the tank dialogue.
Hold right here. Enemy tank coming up the road.
Bravo 6, this is Warpig. We're clear to advance, over. Roger that. Move up
I think this is pretty average right here.
T-72 behind the building at your 10 o'clock. Can you engage?
It's so hard for me to tell when I don't have live split up on a game.
I know. It's so hard to tell because every mission feels like it takes forever. But yeah, now we're just sitting here waiting for our friendly tank to move up to this area after it rolls all the dice and shoot this enemy tank so we can finally move forward while trying not to die in the meantime. Now clear out any enemies remaining. There aren't any. And so now we just strafe to the ending here.
There's a funny ending too, where like a helicopter comes down and you're supposed to run into it and everything, but we can just like stand off to the side and it works anyway.
Yeah, you don't even have to get in the helicopter to trigger the ending. And so we just kind of have to wait until our teammates decide to start moving. So the helicopter spawn in right there. And there's nothing you can even do to like speed up that section. So you just kind of gotta sit around, wait, and find ways to entertain yourself. Here's our helicopter. And instead of getting into it, we all just kind of like to prone underneath and go for the red dot. Let's see on a Warpig. Now we start loading into our second big auto scroller. Shock and awe.
I have flashbacks on veteran for this level. You can die before you can even like attack the enemies.
So the whole point of this auto scroller part is to just take out enemy tanks and especially the RPGs that shoot at you. It's very unlikely, especially on recruit, that you die during this at all. Like there's about a 50 to 60% chance that you can literally just sit here and do nothing and you won't die.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, what difference does recruit make versus veteran for a lot of the strats? Like, do you still go for, especially in the running sessions, I guess, obviously,
yeah,
just die here.
The main difference on veteran is like obviously they do more damage, but they have just insane accuracy and like basically wall hacks. They always know where you are. They shoot you before you can see them. Things like that.
And they just pre-fire you all the time. They throw so many grenades.
The most difficult part about veteran to get used to is that the enemies will spawn in with like randomly predetermined accuracy. So sometimes you'll come to an area and there'll be a bunch of veteran enemies that are just missing you all the time, and it's easy. And you never know when you're going to get that veteran enemy who just hits every shot and shoots you right away. You got to be careful all the time.
Huh.
Yeah, and you wouldn't think that the difference. You'd think the difference would either be insanely big or insanely low, but the difference between recruit and veteran is only about 20 minutes.
And is that mainly to do with just like you have to play a little bit safer on veteran?
Yeah. It's all about just playing safer. Also, some timings for some objectives just take longer.
Oh yeah,
like
so the defense section on one shot, one kill, you have to wait an extra minute on veteran, on top of the enemies being extra dangerous. Just really punishing you there.
Yeah. And like the hill clear on heat, there's a little trick we do to skip a bunch of dialogue, but it requires a kill requirement. And on veteran, the kill requirement is about double, which is nearly impossible to get.
Oh yeah. That's, yeah.
So it's like little things like that. Plus having to hide all the time and then just hope that you don't die while running through sections. Or just get insanely unlucky.
A few other things that don't affect us, but like certain levels have timers that you have to complete in a certain amount of time, and veteran will always give you less time, or most often give you less time.
Yeah. So now here's the part where it stops being an auto scroller and we can run around for about 30 seconds. That actually matters.
There's a pretty cool like thing coming up here though after this.
Oh, yeah, people are mentioning.
Oh, that was unlucky.
Whoa.
Melee's very dangerous.
Yeah, melee from about 10 feet away.
Do you do Mile High Club in this run?
We don't.
No. I can show it off at the end. I'm not very good at it, but Why? Okay, this is really unfortunate. When I started that strafe, the guy wasn't moving, and by the time I landed, he was just perfectly in the door.
But yeah, so Mile High Club is actually more difficult, I would say, than any other veteran level. There's so many enemies in such a small area, and you have such a small time to get through it all.
Yeah, I think the timing thing is what really, like, obviously, you know, I tried it when I was younger, and I don't think I ever got it. I think I got it on like the second hardest difficulty.
Yeah, so when they force you to go through that quickly on that time, no one can do that consistently because of the varying enemy accuracy and things like that. So you have to take a lot of risks and get pretty lucky, basically.
Yeah, the thing that people probably don't understand most about doing runs on veteran versus doing runs on recruit is that it's just about 80% luck. Like, you can have strats and route around everything, but at the end of the day, it's just, am I going to get through this certain area without dying? Am I going to get shot 3 times, 4 times? Are there going to be 18 grenades in my feet? Are there not? Like,
and the stress rule is about minimizing that. But yeah, that's exactly why basically all COD runs are default done on recruit. Because it's more skill based. Even though people tend to, like, the first assumption is a high difficulty is more skill based, right? But when it's that random, it doesn't really work that way.
Yeah, I'd assume all runners' skill levels kind of like normalize at some point where everybody can hit the shots. It's just
yeah.
Do enemies have higher health on veteran, or is it just like
no? Same health, but they're just damage and precision or just go through the roof.
Yeah.
And now for our second section here, where we just run. We're gonna run in a straight line, pick up the pilot of the downed helicopter, and run straight back. And
this is an incredibly scary section on veteran, though. There's so many enemies here, and you have basically no movement because you're carrying someone. You can't jump or like brave or anything.
See, funnily enough, when I used to run veteran, I never had any problems in this section.
I think they did.
The first case of wiggling here, or worming, or whatever you want to call it, just shaking the camera, it just makes you move faster.
Yeah, so it's basically the same strafing technique as always, but we can't jump, so we're just switching graves back and forth as quickly as possible.
And now that's basically the end of the actual playable section of the level. But now we get into probably the most iconic scene. Like, you show anybody this scene and they know exactly what it's from. And it just looks even better in the remaster.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is like super iconic.
I remember the day that this remaster came out and everybody was like, I have to get 4K footage of this exact scene. And just post it everywhere.
Well, this was like the first time that like a major game had like killed a protagonist.
Yeah.
Or it was like, you're not invincible.
I started on MW2, so that was like, I guess that wasn't so unexpected for me because they do the same thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go to Aftermath, probably the most useless level in any single Call of Duty game.
You walk forward for about...
You literally just walk forward? Also, this part I changed my DPI to be about 3 times as high. Just so I can actually turn at this one section here. Because you just get stuck on everything. And here I'm actually just spamming A and B. It produces the same end result as just moving my camera, but I just can't move my camera, really.
Just a little bit slower than, without the camera moving.
Pull something to go faster. Whereas in the original game, you can just kind of go along the right side and just hug an invisible wall and just go at basically twice the speed. So yeah, if you do that right, that mission takes 1 minute and 5 seconds and is completely useless. And you have to play it every single time.
We're at Act 1 now and getting into some of the more interesting missions, in my opinion.
Yeah, Act 2 is really where it picks up and actually gets fun.
And I'm not sure why this level works. So right here, we're going to call in an airstrike to stop our teammates from advancing. So they're going to wait and didn't wait for it to finish so we can get back to them before they get too far away. I'm not sure why just running to the end of the level and back completes every objective though. Because they want you to go in and clear out all these safe houses and check them for the guy you're searching for, but we just run up to the farm
that's
and turn
slow,
around.
so we just don't. And we hit a trigger right there, and it just progresses all the objectives, like silently in the back. And so I will hug this fence and wait for a second until that dialogue to make sure that the last door is actually closed so we can breach it. And this is the section where they kind of all just move at light speed. They were really close, so I couldn't really show it off well, but as long as you just turn your back towards your teammates as they're...
Nice
That
random
was
door.
scary. That
Most
could have
dangerous
just
enemies
ended
in this
everything
game.
right there. Yeah.
Where did you get the bomb?
Now there's just another minute of them interrogating Al-Assad, so we're just gonna run around and just have some fun.
A name. A name. I want his name.
There's actually a window. They try to make it really hard to get out of the building in the remaster, but there's just a window there you can just jump out of. And if you move fast enough, you can get back to where you start.
He is always the last house you check, yeah. But for whatever reason, running to the end
Oh, come on.
just makes it be that house.
Did not want to let me jump over the fence. What a shame. And also, you're far enough away where you don't hear any dialogue, but sadly it doesn't affect the timing.
So very rarely, if you get far enough away and you can't hear your teammates talking, that whole dialogue would just be skipped. But also most of the time they're communicating through like radios or whatever, so you hear the dialogue all the time.
Yeah. And now here we go into probably everybody's favorite mission. Unfortunately, we're going to be skipping all of it with the only out of bounds in the entire run.
Yeah, I talked about my dad at the beginning, and this was his favorite mission. And so I'm texting him like, hey, check this out, because the way they do this mission is hilarious.
That's unfortunate.
I think this is a lot of people's favorite mission. The cool thing is though, it's like one of my favorites to speedrun too, because there's no waiting for anything. We just go right through.
So I tried to get through that section without being detected, so I get a checkpoint, but that didn't work. So hopefully I don't mess this up. But basically right there, I do a very precise lineup, so I can grab onto an invisible ledge and just hop across the building and go out of bounds. And now we're back in bounds.
But we
And
see
this is-
all the triggers for spawning the army and the tanks and everything. So we just
Yeah,
run straight
this is
past all
this is
of
the
it.
part where you'd be lying prone, going underneath the tanks, trying not to be seen. We're kind of running through all of this. That was, yep. And see, this is this is
And
what
that's
can
why you want the
happen.
checkpoint.
There we go. Trying to do it right. That was really just unfortunate where none of my shots wanted to hit the enemy, and I got shot once. So that allowed him to one-hit melee me.
So I mentioned the health before, that when you get to low health, you get some invincibility for a little while. If you get meleeed from not quite full health, that just bypasses that entirely. So that's the easiest way to die suddenly like that. And like on veteran, where they do more damage, somehow a melee does basically the same amount. So they're kind of a lot less dangerous, relatively speaking, on veteran.
It's a lot safer now. And here we go to our second out of bounds. Do a little bit of funky parkour. And, oh, wow, of course. Get stuck by the 1 pixel, like, invisible barrier and get pushed out of bounds where you can't get out of.
Too much radiation.
Oh, and it didn't even give me the checkpoint. Nice.
Follow me and keep low.
So I hope you guys really like all the Gillied Up because you're going to be seeing a lot of it apparently.
Radiation all over this area. If you absorb too much, you're a dead man.
Yeah, so checkpoints aren't like super consistent sometimes in this game. We're not totally sure why they get skipped sometimes or why not. Some like it doesn't like giving you checkpoints if you're taking damage when it would normally do it. Sometimes it just kind of doesn't give you a checkpoint anyway. A little weird sometimes.
And both of these skips are, if you get lucky enough, it's supposed to be pretty easy. But if you get unlucky like I've just been, it can be a major run killer. As just getting to the second out of bounds takes a little under a minute and a half. The game also just likes to get your jump inputs if you, there we go. Now we're out of bounds and it's officially starting what we call radiation skip.
So you need a lot of air strafing to get through this, which is, I don't think we went like super in depth, but like basically the same movement as the turning on the ground to increase speed, but you do it through the air. This takes away your ability to sprint here. And if you don't air strafe well enough, you basically won't get through all the radiation fast enough. And it's cumulative across the whole level. So if you run into radiation earlier, you have like a maximum amount of time you can spend in radiation through the whole level. So we have to avoid like as much as possible.
And funnily enough, we're actually still getting Macmillan's dialogues. Oh, there's the move up. There's my game save right there. My first checkpoint in the entire mission. Nice.
I have no idea why that went there.
I've never seen it happen that late. Most of the time you just wouldn't get a checkpoint at all.
Was he just stuck on the enemies maybe? That must have been what happened.
He was, yeah. And so now the rest of this mission is just played inbounds. And we're just going to run to the end trigger here.
This is also a very rare case. Most levels in these games will have, like, they won't just have an end trigger sitting that you can run into and finish the level, or like even a series of triggers that you can hit in order. It's quite often like an objective blocking that end trigger, which is why
you have to complete every single objective in the map in order. Otherwise, the game won't let you finish the level.
It's a big reason why they're so resilient to big skips and stuff.
Yeah. But this is the only one in this game that actually just has an end trigger that if you could just launch yourself across the map, you could get here in about 3 seconds and finish the level. We'll just hit it
I think
through
theoretically
the wall.
I think theoretically War Room does too, but there's no way we know of to get there. I can't even conceive of how that would be possible. But in Code 4, it is. Like, people have checked with no clip.
Okay.
The meeting is underway.
So I assume it's the same here.
Entering the target area.
Here we go.
Another iconic scene.
The wind's getting a bit choppy. You can
So,
compensate for it, or you can wait it out.
I'm just gonna hope for the wind gods to have mercy on me after that whole ordeal I just went through.
I guess I should explain wind RNG a bit. Basically, we watch the flag to see which way the wind is going, but it changes at any possible time by any amount. And even after you fire the shot, it can change. So there is no consistent way to do this.
Yeah, so it'll just...
That was insanely close. Oh my god, he's like
does that.
ducking and
there's-
weaving between those shots.
Yeah, there's no way to combat that. You just kind of shoot and hope for the best.
You just pray
Is
the
really
wind
what it
doesn't
boils down
change.
to. Yeah. So it's a little fun little Easter egg that they added in. In Modern Warfare 3, you see this cutscene from that vehicle played as Yuri, and they actually added that into this game. And as you can see, the wind just keeps changing. And I'm waiting for it to like slow down a little bit. There we go.
There
Oh,
we
the
go.
collateral.
Collateral.
That doesn't happen very often. And we take up a helicopter. A nice lined up shot. And we just run over the little rope here, rappel down. Oh, nice. And the helicopter didn't kill me.
Looks close. I actually thought it was going to for a second.
I thought I was going to at least get damaged. Yeah, that can only happen in the remaster. Where, for whatever reason, even if you're super fast, the game will just decide sometimes that you just die to those explosions. And there's nothing you can do about it.
These claymores sort of stop dogs that spawn over there from chasing you down. Also chasing McMillan down. Because if he gets tackled by a dog, it loses quite a few seconds.
So much time. Especially because he can get chain tackled. So he can get like tackled by one dog, and then another dog, and then another dog. McMillan also took a really good line. He can take like a bunch
really
of
fast.
variances. But the fastest he just runs basically the same route I took. But sometimes he thinks he's a really cool guy and will just like slide over every single car. Or just like stay back and try to be friends with the enemies.
Yeah, I have seen him go very out of his way just to do an extra car slide.
Yeah. But now we try to get here faster than McMillan. Clear out these enemies.
Also, I guess I should point out the G3 is fully automatic in single player, unlike multiplayer, which most people are probably used to. So you're not having like any insane trigger finger here or anything.
Yeah, and that section right there, you can just look at the helicopter and it will blow up. You don't actually have to do anything. But now we just kind of see McMillan sit here, fall down, and just be like, I don't feel like running anymore. So now we have to carry him for the rest of the level. Which is where I will do more of this camera shaking. So if you get motion sick, or just don't like this, look away for the next 2 minutes or so. So I'll be combining this with a wall riding.
Enemy troops approaching. Find a spot where I can cover you and put me down. Get to that apartment. We'll try to lose him in there. Tango's closing fast. Put me in a good spot to cover you.
Now we've our bestest friends in the world again, a whole pack of dogs. Oh, and I didn't get bit.
Like you actually got away. Wow.
Yeah. You can get really unlucky there and get bit by dogs like 5 times in a row and then just get stuck, and then the dogs will jump on you and you will obviously miss the input because the game just decides so. And then just die.
And sometimes you got to put McMillan down to fight them off, and that takes a
Yeah.
while, like the whole animation.
Now we'll drop down in this pool, activate these dogs, and I swear they changed this because it used to be all 4 dogs will run at these 2 enemies here. But now it's like they take turns.
Yeah, there's a very slim chance of this
And they
working.
just run away.
Just give
Like
up.
this didn't used to happen, I swear.
So if we get McMillan close to where he wants to be put down, he has some dialogue after we clear those 2 guys out. If we put him down before the dialogue completes, it lets us pick him back up whenever we want, which then you can get into the ending helicopter much faster.
And we're gonna do another little skip here, where we just go prone and hold our claymores up because McMillan will give you more. And so if you just go prone and put all of them down as fast as possible, he will just say his dialogue really fast.
We have a fix on your position. Hang tight.
And so we put claymores down there because he basically tells us to, and he won't advance the mission until we get rid of all of the claymores. Just put them down as fast as we can.
Get closer.
And now we just sit in this corner and basically spawn kill all the enemies that come out of this door. You don't need to, it's just
easier.
I don't know, it's just easier. You can also just sit in this corner right there, and the enemies will not come around that area.
We're also blocking a spawn by sitting here at the doors behind you. They would spawn out of there if you weren't so close.
Spawn from that. And this is the point where we really show off how bad the M21 is.
Hit marker machine, really.
It really just does no damage. It's like using a Nerf gun. Rude. Alright, so we cleared out all these enemies. Now I'm gonna run back and set up some C4 for some enemies that spawn down during helicopters. Again, entirely not necessary, but it's just faster to clear them out this way, just so they're less annoying, really. Now there's gonna be 4 helicopters full of enemies. We'll just kind of clear them out one by one. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna blow up these 2 cars here. So I can stand here and not have to worry about being blown up.
I also didn't mention, apparently the G3 and the M21 share ammo. So normally the M21 has a max ammo of 100, which you can very easily run out of in this defense section. So if you pick up a G3, you can have up to 400, and that's effectively infinite, which is very useful.
Yeah, the G3 is coded kind of strangely in this game. For whatever reason, it does an insane amount of damage.
It's also an assault rifle, which is supposed to be a slow weapon class, but the G3 is fast because of reasons. So
the G3, for whatever reason, is actually just like the best weapon in the game.
Yeah.
And I wasn't looking at the helicopter. This should be perfect anyways. Basically, we're just waiting until the helicopter spawns into the map. Comes pick us up. So we pick up McMillan early. And run over here. And, oh, yep, I went in too early. Wow, this is my checkpoint, huh?
That is a risky time save.
I didn't, I thought that was like spot on.
That was very close.
I didn't think that was actually gonna kill me right there. That's very unfortunate. I think that's the first time that helicopter has actually killed me. I didn't even have him put down.
The checkpoint was before we put down the C4, of course.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Well, if nothing else, this is at least a good showcase of how extremely wrong everything can go.
I also don't know if you can do the glitch thing with McMillan exiting the helicopter on this.
Not to my knowledge, no.
If you look up and right and spam F on the way out, you will see, I guess.
And there's the location where our helicopter spawns in. I guess I'll just wait extra long.
Nice enemies. Oh, nice RPG.
Actually, just that could have been so unfortunate.
Very scary.
Yeah, the reason you try to enter so early is so you can push your way through all your teammates.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even like look up. So. Yeah, now you just take a sweet little helicopter ride after that area defense. Get evacuated from Chernobyl. That was one shot, one kill. Took a lot more shots and didn't actually kill anybody, so a little redundant. Now, so we time skip back to right after safe house, but just in the morning. And this is the hill clear with the kill requirements I was talking about earlier.
I think it's 3 kills that you need. And they start off with a series of explosives as soon as you fire your first bullet. You've got a very short time to get those kills. Progress the objective.
And you also want to watch out for Price, because he can just trap you in the corner for 45 seconds and make you unable to move. That should be enough kills. And you just want to get a couple more kills there to satisfy another kill requirement. We'll start the next sequence. And I am planting claymores here to insta-kill all the enemies that spawn to instantly complete the next objective.
Not much movement on the road. They might be moving to our west.
They're gonna start firing mortars, so we're gonna move up to the next objective.
It's time to fall back. Right, so get to the minigun and cover the western flank. Go. 2 falling back. 3 on the move. 3 here. 2's in the far eastern building. We've got the eastern road locked down.
There goes the church tower. And there we go. That took a little bit longer than I thought it would. So we completed the main objective, which was just get a kill requirement of, I think, 6 enemies.
I think 6
spawns in. Yeah, spawns in a bunch of helicopters.
We've got a problem here. Heads up.
And now they just want us to blow up a bunch of detonators.
So fall back to the tavern and man the
Yeah, we normally go into that.
The rest of us will
Sorry.
keep busy from
If you do it in the wrong order, you can kill your enemy, or you kill your teammates.
We're falling back to the next phase line.
We normally go into that downed helicopter over there and get on the minigun. Shoot a bunch of enemies, but we just skip that entirely with the claymores.
Why would I want to mantle that game? That was
It was behind you,
odd
obviously, you
mantle.
were looking at it.
Yeah, obviously, I didn't want to jump over the railing. No, I wanted to mantle the tree stump. That was very useful. Thank you. Now we're gonna go to the barn, pick up a javelin, and take out these 4 tanks. A faster but much riskier strat is to pick up an RPG and take out that tank on the left and save it for last.
But yeah, these tanks can do a lot of damage, so it's really not a safe strat.
It's not even honestly worth it. It saves a couple seconds at most. And even then,
then we
there's
get
still
back
so
down
much
the hill.
else that can go wrong on the level that it's
Yeah.
not worth it unless you're going for individuals. And also in the remaster, we have to kill 4 enemies on our way down this hill here. Otherwise, you'll exceed the entity limit and crash the level.
Which we haven't talked about yet, but basically every Call of Duty game can only support 32 entities loaded in at once, including allies, enemies, and all kinds of things. So that's quite often abused. Like sometimes we'll run past certain areas, leaving as many enemies alive as possible, so it doesn't spawn in as many later on. But this is one where it just crashes the game if you get too many when it tries to spawn in your allies.
And now, so we've gotten down to this objective at the bottom of the hill, so we spawned in our helicopter early. And now we just have to wait a little bit for them to land and open the doors. So we can sprint in, hopefully get past some of these guys. There we go. And now our teammates will teleport down to the left there. There we go. And now we just kind of wait for the level to finish up. Maybe call in an airstrike or 2 for fun. There were some smokes. Oh, that's an interesting animation. Sit in the helicopter with the javelin. And that was he.
And now we're on the last mission of Act 2.
Sins of
We're
the
definitely going
Father.
to show off the G3 strats here, right?
Oh yes.
Because I mean, if
This
one
is-
drops conveniently,
This is really what shows how broken the G3 is in this game. So we just have to clear out this diner / enemy outpost as fast as possible. Which is made very convenient by chucking a bunch of grenades. Oh, there's the RPG, perfect. Wants to spawn? Drop? Where? There it is.
hiding in the grass.
Yeah, so the RPG is the best weapon for this entire mission, basically, besides the G3.
Running and gunning with the RPD is very good. It's got the max
Yes.
movement speed, despite being an LMG somehow. And you get so many shots before you have to reload. Quite often just stunning enemies as you're running past them is the most useful way to get around them without getting meleeed or just in general attacked by them. And the
I was
RPD is
trying to
really
do
good
some
at that.
funny parkour while we wait, and I can't get it. That jump's actually really hard to do.
But yeah, so later on here, there's going to be 2 MG nests we want to shoot out. And with the RPD, it would take about 70 shots each. And with the R700, it takes about 4. So basically, they have a lot of health. But with the G3, it apparently does the same damage as the R700. So we just rapid fire them with that.
And you just fire a few shots at the MG nest, and they blow up, and that saves a surprisingly huge amount of time. But going for the G3 is actually super risky. Because if you go anywhere besides following the target, you just kind of lose. And also, we're going to trigger this ambush early by just firing a shot. Oh.
And there's a
There we
G3
go.
right in the middle.
Right there. I also don't want to kill any extra enemies. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, perfect. Get away from my G3. Perfect, thank you.
It can be very easy to mistake a G3 for an MP5 and vice versa here.
Most enemies have AK-47s or MP5s, and so if you just kind of see a black weapon on the ground, you're like, oh, that might be a G3, but you run and pick it up and it's an MP5, and you realize you just wasted time. So let's see if I'm quick enough to actually grab it here.
This guy is really fast, by the way. Like,
oh,
very
perfect.
nice. Oh, almost full as well. Very nice. I don't think we ever mentioned, picking up weapons off the ground, it's completely random all the time how much ammo they have in them. So you might pick up a completely empty gun and be in a lot of trouble very suddenly. Or you can just get a very full gun and makes life easy.
I'm just gonna hope this dog doesn't bite me. and just strafe through this entire level.
You can strafe run faster than dogs, but yet we can barely catch up to this guy.
And we haven't mentioned this at all, but the reason I'm... Oh, that was interesting. So there's the first time doing this.
That would usually take an extra like
And
8 seconds to get through.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we haven't mentioned this, but I crouch a lot during when I strafe.
Oh yeah, so stance changing kind of just makes enemies miss. You can do it sort of, if you realize you're going to get meleeed and you have time, you can time a crouch right as they swing and you kind of duck the crouch, I guess. But same thing for bullets. If they shoot at you right as you change your, from standing to crouch, you can just avoid the bullets. So it's basically makes things a lot safer when running through massive groups of enemies.
Yeah. And we look away during that cutscene so we can get more frames, which speeds up the slow-mo sections. Not as much in the remasters because you don't get nearly as many frames as the originals. Oh no, double minigun through the helicopter. That's unfortunate. But yeah, that was Sins of the Father. That was actually a really clean one too.
That was very nice.
Leaders prostituted us to...
And now we head into Act 3.
My favorite act. In
The
almost
act
every
you're
game.
always best at. Unfairly good at Act 3 in every game. Yeah, we
really
blow up that
funny.
vehicle so they don't slow down our teammates. And we stick behind this wall to make our teammates move faster. It doesn't work that way. Does it work that way in the original? Or
In the
similar?
original, we alert them right away, I think. Actually, it's been a little while since I played. Either way, we
you
wait
alert
for
them right
price.
away so they group up so you can eliminate them with one grenade launcher shot, basically. It doesn't work like
But-
that in this, unfortunately.
We wait for press to go crash behind a tree and go then. But yeah, this one's this way. So it's sometimes they'll run or sometimes they won't, and that can lose like 15
There we are.
seconds if they decide to walk.
Yeah, and the order that they're in is also completely random. So price is actually kind of fast, though.
There's also an absurdly rare teleport that's been done like 5 times ever, where press would just teleport to the door. Get yourself a free MP5.
Or
If the
not.
game lets
Okay,
you.
I guess
What?
not. No MP5 for me. Shame. But we're gonna push past price here. Take out this enemy and use a grenade launcher shot to take out the 2 enemies in this room. Oh,
Because a grenade launcher is the stealthiest weapon, you know.
yes. And we're also gonna use C4, which in case you didn't know is also stealthy.
Exactly.
Let's take out more enemies in a second here. And I'm gonna push price and hopefully it works if he wants to cooperate. Pushing teammates into this game is insanely difficult. And I'm shooting at his feet so he doesn't keep moving forward and run back to his like original position. That was
Pushing
perfect.
teammates is always very difficult. Yeah, that was actually.
Oh, you are just annoying. So unfortunately that didn't work. If you eliminate those 2 enemies,
Now you have about 48 dogs to deal with.
yeah. If you eliminate those 2 enemies before they find you, you can skip that entire section there. Is somebody in last stand? Oh my gosh.
Price ducking
Price.
from his grenade that
Come
blew
on.
up 3
Yeah.
seconds ago.
That is a very good showcase of what your teammates will actually do to grenades. They will just freak out and
They
not
run
go
from
anywhere near a grenade.
They run from grenades, so you think if I throw a grenade correctly, they'll just run away in the direction I want them to. But then they'll just spend an extra like 4 seconds doing nothing after the
They
grenade's
will
gone.
run in the opposite direction, or they will just stop and hunker down. We also killed those 2 enemies in the room, just to make it faster. And we're gonna kill our teammate here, so he's not in the way of our teammates as they try to leave the building. And now we're going to sit here and save Griggs.
Having the MP5 is also very nice with this next action. Much better than a pistol.
It's funny because I pick it up even though I don't use it.
Oh.
It is a safety strat if you're not very confident. Because not only do you have full movements with the MP5, it's also a full auto weapon. But I just run around with a grenade launcher.
That makes sense. I like to shoot barrels sometimes. Like it's just different preferences.
And now we go ahead and complete the objective, where we knock out that electrical tower and take out the electrified fence while it is extremely loud. And Griggs is always really fast here, so we're gonna try to slow him down. And that's good because Gaz is right behind him, and Price should be coming up here. Oh, you're not Price. Oh, okay, so this is really funny. Price is underneath the map right now.
I have never seen this.
Yeah, this is a remaster only thing. He is not coming towards us though. Oh, there he goes. I have zero idea what causes this. He will just... I kind of want to sit and watch him.
It's like pop up through the floor.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
There it is.
You can see his hat there for a split second.
So weird.
I have no idea what causes that, but it actually saves time.
Interesting.
It saves a couple seconds, especially because Price can be really slow. But if he's underneath the map, he will just say his open the fence dialogue from wherever he is. It will act like he's close enough to the fence to trigger that section, as long as Gaz and Griggs are there. And so this area is especially dangerous.
Just red barrels all over the place.
Yeah, just red barrels all over the place. RPGs on every single rooftop. And so I just blow up those barrels because there's about a 50-50 chance that there are actually dogs in that room as well. But now we just strafe to the end. We hit a kill trigger right about here, which despawns every single enemy in the map and makes it so our teammates can just run up faster. And we're going to have some fun trying to push Smith here. This is actually probably the hardest NPC push in the game.
That seemed quite fast, actually.
Yeah. And now we just go over the opposite side of the ridge to this gate and just hang out. We get a nice view of some big fireworks that are about to go off. And I don't think looking away from your teammates can speed them up here. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, the PPSH in World at War is maybe one of the strongest guns in like any Call of Duty game. It's kind of crazy. People talking about that in chat.
Some chat responses.
Yeah.
Now we go all in, which is probably one of the most technical levels. And
probably one of my favorite levels.
It definitely is like one of the best levels because it's all skill. And we do this little, if it wants to stop eating my jump input, perhaps. Nice little fence skip, which saves a good chunk of time. Hug the left side here.
Apparently, if you go further right early, it just spawns like an extra wave of enemies for some reason.
It does spawn another wave.
I have no idea why that works.
And now
also,
oh, good. I got it.
That worked.
So
you blow up some red barrels over there to kill the BTR. Because if you try and shoot that with any regular weapon, it will just tell you that that doesn't work. But apparently, red barrels are stronger than anything else.
The tanks with RPGs, a javelin, or C4. But by just shooting a grenade launcher shot over the red barrels, it somehow just works and blows it up.
I also think you need both red barrels to kill it. If you hit it too early and only one is in range, it doesn't work, yeah.
But so that saves a big chunk of time as opposed to having to like run over there, use C4 to blow it up. And then we'll also have Price and Griggs teleport over here and take their sweet time opening this vent shaft.
Team 2, going down.
I'll just sit here, wait for
And yeah, we
the
grabbed the RPD.
Oh yes, we do grab the RPD.
It is
the best
for
weapon.
War Room. Because like I said earlier on Sins of the Father, it's basically the best weapon for running and gunning, and there's a lot of that in War Room. One of the most dangerous levels, right at the end of the run.
All right, let's move.
Now I'm going to. Oh, okay, that's unfortunate.
All right, let's move.
Shoot
Basically,
Price so that he...
I'm trying to shoot in front of Price so he stops moving. Okay, or that happens. Basically, you can stop Price from moving by throwing a flashbang or shooting in front of him. I find that shooting in front of him works better, but has that unfortunate side effect. And Price goes in front of you. You can just take this alternate route. A little disorienting. But now basically we're just going to straight past every single enemy. Say no thank you to whatever they're trying to sell. Which seems to be mostly melees.
They do like their melees.
They do like their melees. And
this
I'm
is
so disoriented. Okay, this is the way to go.
This is a very common choke point in runs. Right at the end is the most difficult level for sure. So many enemies to run past. So many things that can go wrong. It's pretty fun though when it works.
The enemies also just like to completely change their path and get in front of you most of the time.
Absolutely.
So now we're just going to place 3 grenade launcher shots into these crowds and it not do enough apparently.
There's still so many enemies
There's
left.
still so many enemies. And all these guys are just going to be offended that I'm like running past them for some reason. And so there's a kill trigger right there. Run past them. Get up in this corner and stare into it. And that will make our teammates run faster.
If you think this level gives mad GoldenEye vibes, wait for some of the COD 1 levels. It's pretty
Oh yeah,
uncanny
COD
how
1 is
similar it is.
extreme GoldenEye vibes.
The War Room softlock it killed one of my world records in COD 4 a long time ago. I don't know of anyone else that got it on a world record pace run. But War Room itself has definitely killed many.
Yeah. Now we just do a lot of waiting for these comically slow doors to open.
Oh, you gotta be shitting me.
Guys, can't you make it open fast?
And kill all these enemies fast enough so Briggs and Price will just run through.
That guy really likes the last stand if you don't headshot him.
Yeah.
Team 3, what's your status? Over. Team 3 in position at the southeast side of the launch control room, standing by. Are you at the far wall? Over. Affirmative. Preparing to breach. Soap. Go, go, go. Going in.
We'll see if this room's going to be nice to me and get a good clear. Oh, wow.
That was really
That was
good.
really
Damn.
quick. I think that's probably the fastest clear I've ever had, actually.
Stand by.
And now we just kind of run towards this door over here. Pick up a shotgun along the way. And wait for our teammates to get close enough so the door will actually open.
Sir, check the security feed. It's a can.
And I believe in the original you can just throw grenades and kind of hope that they run towards the door.
There's a lot of things you can do, but it's, yeah.
Yeah. They
Managing
changed
is
the
kinda
positioning
difficult.
of Price, so you can't really push them. Like if he was still in the same spot, like near the entrance door where you go into the room at, it would probably be viable to push him. But he's so far back now. Oh, and I forgot to reload my grenade launcher. That's embarrassing. And I get aim punched.
We haven't talked much about aim punch, but that's especially with a grenade launcher, it can really mess things up. If you get aim punched right at the perfect moment, last stand holding a grenade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you saw that perfect aim punch right as you was aiming the grenade launcher and just missed everyone. That can happen a lot.
That happens so often.
Especially earlier when when you're trying to clear out that
shot.
massive group of enemies. If you get aim punched there and miss, very dangerous.
We're coming up the lift. Stand by.
You know, sir, I wouldn't mind getting a shot at Takeo.
Yeah, we'll get in line, mate. Right up first.
Now you just have to clear out this back room.
Lots of
and
red
hope
barrels.
that
That was good. Wow.
oh, that was a really good clear.
I haven't tried with grenades like that. That's interesting.
I've been throwing them towards the end just because enemies like to camp out in that very
run
back
back.
area.
Yeah, I kind of like that strat.
And reloading the grenade launcher is slow.
Yeah, that is true.
And here we load into the final mission, Game Over, which is another basically just auto scroller.
This is actually just. I mean, you can. This is just. The time doesn't vary. It's exactly an auto scroller, but you can die. So
Yeah,
that's a reason not to skip it. Like who, I guess.
I'm gonna try to get all five of Grease's dialogues. So there are there are enemies with RPGs on these trucks, and every time you kill one, Griggs will say a line. And if you're fast enough, you can kill 5 of them and get all 5 dialogue lines. I theorize that if you can kill all of them instantly, you can get a 6th.
That is interesting because they only have 3 in the original COD 4. It's really funny seeing those very tiny changes.
There's 1. There's 2. It's also very hard because the car keeps swaying.
And that truck keeps moving too. Yeah.
There's 3, and also just hit registration in this game is atrocious. Oh, I didn't get the 4th one. That's a shame. There's 5. Oh, he just respawned immediately. Okay. That was interesting. So yeah, that was all 5 dialogues.
Nice.
And you have to pick up this RPG and shoot it at the helicopter, otherwise you will mission fail.
It's funny how they don't expect you to hit it or anything. You just have to shoot vaguely at the thing.
Yeah. There's also a fun little glitch in the original where you can have all 3 of these weapons. But sadly, it isn't possible on the remaster. So now we just kind of head out in the back of the car for a little bit here. Weapon swapping.
It is possible to hit the helicopter, but it's extremely
Yeah,
unlikely.
You can hit the helicopter, but it won't do anything, unfortunately.
Yeah. I remember the first time I hit it, I was so happy, but then nothing happened.
Yeah, and then nothing happens. You're like, oh, that's unfortunate. It would have been really cool if they programmed in like an alternate ending or something. But unfortunately, Activision and the development studios for Call of Duty aren't really known for that. They don't really like to do that. And we're just gonna jump around the bridge here to move it faster.
M60?
M60 time. So this is the only place in the game where, oh, nice grenade, where an enemy will drop an M60. This is the only place in the game where you can get it. And so we have a little tradition of getting an M60 on every PB run. And the joke is if you don't go on the bridge and get the M60, then it's really not a PB.
It's just a nice
let me
little
tell you,
added risk for a cool little
Yeah,
thing.
trying to do that on veteran is terrifying. So yeah, basically this is just a little wave defense, but no matter what you do, it doesn't change anything. Basically, as long as you don't die, you won't lose any time here.
The tank is about to blow! Move!
Little slow-mo cutscene of Briggs being really cool and trying to save us. We'll see how well this works out for him.
I like how he drags you out into the middle. Like,
Just into the middle, just out of cover. Just like, oh yes, this is a good place to leave soap right here. In the middle of the bridge. We'll be fine. And we'll have our ending time coming up here in a little bit. It's when the crosshairs disappear on our pistol after we kill our enemies. Also, F's in the chat for Gaz and the gang. Kamarov and his boys are here to save the day. Our slides over weapon to enact our revenge. Go as fast as possible, and time's coming up here. And time. That was full game of Modern Warfare Remastered.
Yeah, I mean, so what would you suggest for people who are trying to learn this, this kind of thing? What would be the best way?
The best way? Most people really get hung up on all the movement tech in the beginning. My advice would be to disregard that entirely for the beginning.
The movement has a really high skill ceiling, but it's if your only goal is to set a decent time in the game, the movement's actually really not that important. It's most important to just play the game, learn the levels, learn what order to do certain things in, and the movement is just sort of like the tip of the iceberg on saving time.
Movement is really just like the last thing you should learn to get it all together, really. Yeah, just playing through the missions, getting yourself familiar with all the objectives you have to complete, how the enemies and your teammates react, what weapons are the best routes to take. Yeah, it's really, it's a Call of Duty game. Like,
yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I know we've mentioned it a little bit. Do you want to throw a couple of attempts at Mile High Club?
Yeah, I'll throw a couple.
See how well it goes.
We'll see how horribly this goes. I do not play Mile High Club.
I was gonna say for the chat, like I understand this is not something we talked about beforehand. I know you're probably not practiced on it. That's totally okay. Just
I threw one attempt at it yesterday just as a meme, and I died about 3 seconds in. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not doing this.
Gotta just do it for the nostalgia.
Just for the nostalgia. Yeah, completing this on veteran is, if you're someone who is up for challenges, definitely doing this on veteran is a challenge. Because as opposed to the 3 minutes here, you only have a minute. Oh, the M10, perfect.
Oh, that like quad kill with with one M10 shot. This gun's so strong.
Perfect. Gotta save the hostage. Nice. That was a lot cleaner than I thought it would be.
I know I think I failed this because I failed to exit the plane one time. I just forgot what I was doing.
You're just like, oh,
When
this is kind of interesting, and then...
When I first played this on veteran, I like the first time I got to the end, I shot the hostage in the foot, and you're not allowed to do that apparently.
Yeah.
So
The game really
I had to do it
dislikes
all over
that.
again.
Yeah. That's
Awesome.
that's the true ending right there for a mission that never happened.
Well, yeah. Thank you for the showcase.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Thanks for Kluger for commentating this as well, because I cannot multitask for the life of me. But yeah. Also, shout outs to the Cosbeater in Discord. Anybody wants to try running these games and need some help or advice, hop in there. Be happy to help you. Got a lot of experienced runners in there.
Yeah, I've been hanging out in there just watching everybody's commentary, and yeah, I just like seeing people excited about the games. It's cool.
Yeah, we don't really get many opportunities to show these off, so it's nice to try. But yeah,
for sure. All right, so that's it for the Call of Duty 4 showcase. If y'all missed that, or if you wanted to see the Ocarina of Time randomizer that came in earlier, check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. Or if you're watching this later and you want to see these runs live, go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick every weeknight at 7 p.m. Eastern and every weekend at 1 p.m. Eastern. A couple last minute things before we go to a break and then come back with Call of Duty 1. SGDQ 2022 on-site volunteer applications are open from now until April 20th. So that's tomorrow. I'd say get your applications in. I'll be going. I'm doing producer stuff there, so that's going to be fun. If you're interested in volunteering at the tech station, camera ops, photography, donation station, basically anything that's involved with helping the stream run, go to gamesdubquick.com for more info. And your subs, gift subs, bits, and Prime Gaming subs all help support the weekly hotfix content. So please consider subscribing if you enjoy this content or if you just want to hear the gaming music in the ad break. So we're going to take a quick break and be right back with Call of Duty 1. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Just had a Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered run by Russian Zone. Went incredible. Game through a lot in his way, but he stuck through it. And now we have the original Call of Duty 1 by Kluger. Kluger, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so I've been doing full game runs of COD for about 2 years now. Picked up COD 1 a couple months ago and came back to it quite recently, so pretty good timing. And yeah, I've got Survivor here with me. He's played the game as well a few months ago.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Survivor. I've been doing COD runs for about 6 years now. I recently just gotten into COD 1 maybe half a year ago, but it's been going pretty well, and I feel like we're gonna have a great time here.
Yeah, so let's just dive right in, I guess. Time starts right now. And so this is basically the same movement as Modern Warfare Remastered, but we can't sprint in this game. So there's a few little differences because of that, but it's all the same sort of strafing movement and that kind of stuff, wall runs, and yeah. There is going to be a pretty huge bug or glitch coming up right here though, where we just fly off the ladder and it looks kind of like no clip. And it's caused by doing a quick save on the ladder, and that for some reason I guess the way they make ladders work in this game is that they just like give you a ton of movement speed and just slam you into the wall, so that way you go up slowly. But if you make a quick save and then load it off a ladder, you keep that ladder state for about a second. And that just lets you fly away. And you can keep chaining that with more quick saves and quick loads.
And here we have the beginning of Pathfinder. Well, this should be an easy level, but there's this one trick that sometimes just doesn't want to work for some reason.
Also, jumping on that push is very difficult, but we're already out of bounds here. That was quite early. So we basically just run around the map. And yeah, so this game uses quick saves, which is... no other COD does that. So it's a little interesting getting used to that when I came from other COD games. But it's pretty necessary in some areas. So yeah, this glitch, I try and get my feet stuck in the floor, and it's really inconsistent. There we go. And now I'm effectively floating, so I can just air strafe and gain a ton of speed.
And then we approach this very specific spot on the road, and it bumps us back up, so we can finish the mission here.
So getting inbounds is quite often a challenge in this game, because there's a lot of weirdness with how it bumps you back inbounds on it. But finding those specific areas on the ground is very necessary a lot of the time.
This level was more recently debugged, Burnville that is. We used to go out of bounds for a second or so, and then hop back inbounds, but apparently it's just faster to go underground here soon, to skip a few triggers that we don't trigger them too early. Kluger knows more about that, since he has been running this game fairly recently as well.
Honestly, this level getting solved kind of revived running COD 1 for me, because I really didn't like playing this level the old way, but it's cuts down on a lot of the randomness. So that planting that bomb there set off a kill trigger for the entire map, so there's no enemies left now, and the teammates are just running all the way to the end now, and I want to get in front of them as fast as I can and hit a trigger at the right time, and that will cause them to teleport straight to the end of the map and start their dialogue.
And while you're hopefully not going to struggle with this getting back into bounds, I just want to mention that if we do it the old way, well, Foley will run to the very end of the map instead of doing his dialogue early, as we will see soon.
I actually don't see Foley. I think I was a little unlucky there. Too bad. So now he's over there at the end of the map somewhere talking. So if I left that too early or too late, I would have had to wait for him to run the whole way. It's also possible to jump up this little ramp, but I've only ever done it once. So you just attempt this while I'm waiting for him to finish talking. This is the first level where we kind of actually play the video game and fight enemies and all that stuff.
Donwell is interesting since you going fast matters, but at the same time it seems like most of this level is dictated by how fast your teammates are.
Yeah, I feel like I get very unlucky on this level with teammates. So I'm chucking grenades over the church right now to get to these enemies over here. Because this is a little strange. You need to clear enemies to progress, but I think it's only specific enemies, mostly these ones on the left here, that are actually really important. You have to wait for a Foley to start his dialogue. I think this is good. My health is quite low. I'm going to need to get some medkits. So yeah, this game doesn't have regenerating health like every other Call of Duty game. You need to watch out for that sometimes. But on Recruit, there's plenty of medkits being dropped all over the place. It's usually fairly safe. And so here I'm mostly just waiting on my teammates. I'm clearing the enemies out as fast as I can, but it's not really saving time. I'm waiting for my teammates to get into position and progress to the next objectives.
Here we wait for a specific dialogue, which is that they're falling back, and then we will shoot this tank that comes over this wall, and well, then it's basically a race to this car section where a tank will push it over.
Yeah, so this whole ending section is basically waiting for teammates, but the faster I can do everything, the better chances I give my teammates to be fast.
The MGs that are coming up are actually quite annoying. They have insane accuracy once they actually start firing at you.
They actually do shockingly little damage, but if they start hitting you, you kind of just have to go do something else because you can't hit them like that.
That was surprisingly smooth though.
That did go
cause too many
well.
issues.
Nice collateral there. Collaterals in this game are a little weird. It only works if you get a headshot on the guy behind. It seems to take off a huge amount of damage if you shoot through someone. Whereas in the newer COD games, you can collateral quite a few people in a row. I feel like my teammates are actually pretty fast here. Did I miss a guy? I might have missed a sniper up here. I don't think that matters though.
Martin, over here. Get in the car. Okay, Captain. Assuming we get back to battalion in this.
Now we sit and wait for some dialogue.
What do I tell them?
There's not too much of this in this game. They definitely got a lot worse with framing cutscenes in as the series went on. But there's still a few sections where we just sort of sit and do nothing for a couple minutes.
Yeah, this game is a lot of on and off action really. I feel like the first 3 levels actually have a lot of movement tech and you have to do a lot. But then you get to Dawnville, car ride, it's pretty slow, and then you get Precourt Manor and Alps and POV Camp right after. That's a lot of action.
Very fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to sit still for about a minute at the start of Precourt, and then just after that you just no breaks. And so this one's a complete auto-scroller. We just sit in the car and try not to die. I don't know if Major Shepard is the father of General Shepard. There's a lot of conspiracy theories about the names of Call of Duty characters. Like there's a Captain Price in here as well, and a Foley. It's actually the Infinity Ward developers would take the names of their staff and put them into the games.
On the topic of this level, there is really not much you can do to speed it up. There is this little section that is coming up where you have some control over how quick it is, but it's not much.
Yeah, and it's sort of the same thing. Do it fast enough so that you give your teammates room to be as fast as they can. But sometimes they'll just take a break and waste a few seconds anyway. Also, another big difference actually in this game, not really coming to play right here, but you can't aim down sights while you're in midair. So in a lot of the older games, we would, like as we're strafe jumping, we could aim down sights and shoot people accurately. And this one, you're sort of forced to hip fire at everyone, and you can get very unlucky with hip fire sometimes, because obviously the bullets are just coming out randomly. It's a little less reliable.
Well, that is true. It's not as bad as the modern games because the hipfire accuracies in this game are, for some reason, really high.
Good. Yeah.
I don't know, like, towards the end of the run we have a sniper rifle and it is almost as accurate when no-scoping as it would be if you were to ADS.
I assume they did that because you can't ADS as much, right? I'm not sure. But, yeah, it's not too bad, but it's one of the major differences that I always notice when playing this game. This is the one section where we can get out and be fast.
You didn't, remember?
I need one, Sarge.
He dropped his gun outside the window. That's kind of rare. I usually don't notice it when that happens.
Martin, cover! Damn it, Elder, hurry up!
Working, Sarge. I'm working on it.
That seemed pretty good. Not
I think so,
particularly slow, at least. Yeah.
I'm actually going to go get some more health real quick.
Don't get it on me. In the car. Martin, cover us!
I don't think I lost time. I think I got there just in time.
Yeah, let's just say half a second here. Well, it's gonna be lost or gained somewhere in the Soviet campaign, really.
Or even bridge skip. That thing terrifies me slightly.
Bridge skip.
And yeah, for people discussing in chat, this game was released in 2003.
Slow down, Private. I said you can slow down.
Honestly, graphically holds up pretty well in my opinion, for a game almost 20 years old.
Right turn, right here.
You got it.
It does surprisingly well. Especially in PC, I think. Well,
Yeah.
that's the platform it was only released on, I think. Or
I think it got re-released on consoles way after like 2009 or something. But yeah.
yeah, Code 1 Classic, but I wonder if there was any other release platform at launch. I don't think
I actually
so.
have no idea.
Mac, maybe?
What the hell else?
That was actually quite fast, yeah.
Third squad, get your 30 cal to cover our flank. Second squad,
This is
follow in reserve.
definitely one of the scariest levels, but it's not too bad until we get to the end.
Everybody set. Let's go.
Also, grenades are kind of crazy in this game. You get 10 by default usually, and you can kind of just spam them everywhere. And when you throw a grenade and like you stand on top of it, it does not very much damage, but it will one-shot enemies. So they're really unbalanced. So right here, I'm going to try and jump over a trigger that spawns a bunch of enemies. And I did that, so this area is just completely clear now. And now we wait for Moody for a minute or so.
Yeah, then we get to shoot a bit, and then we have to wait for Moody again.
Should we talk about the incredibly rare event coming up that's definitely not going to happen, where Moody can get shot down?
Definitely.
So he goes and... I guess I'll let you talk about
take
it.
it.
Cool, okay. I guess I'll take it. So Moody goes and saves a private or someone over there, and there's an incredibly small chance that he can get shot while saving the guy. And if he does, he goes down and a wall blows open, and you can go and do the next objective much earlier. It saves maybe 10 or 15 seconds. But it's difficult to say exactly how rare it is. Like, I don't know if saying 1 in 100 would be accurate. I've only seen it happen a couple times ever before. It is more common on veteran though, I'm pretty sure, because the enemy accuracy increases.
I'm not really sure how common it is, but with the grenade strat that we tried out, I was able to get it maybe down 1 out of 4 times. So
interesting.
It's not really that bad, but there is the risk of doing friendly fire when you throw a lot of grenades at your teammates.
I've noticed you can't actually lose to friendly fire by grenades, but if you hit Moody at all when he's up there, you immediately fail. So even if you put a grenade over here somewhere, it can hit him, and yeah. And so right here we're just going to push him into position to save a second or two. So I've been trying the grenade strat recently, and it has not been working for me. But we'll see how this goes.
I'm not sure if grenades do some damage when you hit them directly onto a teammate, because I remember when I tried it out, I got friendly fire just by throwing grenades. So maybe you can hit a teammate and that does 1 damage, like it does in every other COD.
That's definitely possible, yeah. Oh my god, that guy sidestepped just to block me. How rude.
And now the level gets kind of scary at points.
I like how that wall blows
enemies here do a lot of damage.
Yeah, they do. I was going to say, I like how that wall blows open, but it was still solid for an extra sort of 4 seconds after it was visually opened up for me. You never know exactly when you can go. Lots of medkits dropping, that's really nice. That guy always drops a medkit. Just avoid all these guys. Running past everyone is kind of the go-to strategy in most COD speedruns.
In this game you have to shoot more people than you would have to in other CODs, really. It's mostly because you're not going that fast and, well, you don't regen health, so you want to avoid getting hit as much as possible. In modern CODs you don't need to worry about that since you regen.
Just like that. And let's see if this still works. Very dangerous.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. It can be really scary here at the end, but you still have plenty of health compared to the sliver you had last time you did this. Well, last time that I saw, at least.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, this is definitely not good.
We made it. Just barely.
There's an MG42 on the left with a guardhouse on the right.
I don't think many people appreciate this level as much as I do. I find this mission, for some reason, really fun.
I really like it. It's a very skill-based mission for sure. It's a lot of just like go through a lot of enemies very quickly, lots of movement. Oh no, I'm getting shot a lot here. Very dangerous way to do this.
It gets overshadowed a bit by Rocket and what else?
And Dam. Yeah. It is a bit similar to Dam, but I much prefer Dan because it has no ally RNG, so it's completely up to you. This one's kind of similar in the skill ceiling way, but then there's also just your teammates can lose a few seconds here and there.
This upcoming skip that you're going to do soon is interesting,
probably gonna
to say
fail.
the least.
That guy didn't want to come around that corner. Yeah, this skip, I don't have a good history with it, but quick saves make things much easier. First try, easy. What was I even worried about?
So, for those people who are wondering what just happened there, we basically jump off to the right from on top of that little statue or pot, and it skips a trigger that normally closes the door that we went through on the top floor.
And so we would normally have to...
Surprisingly, it doesn't break the game.
Yeah, we would normally have to walk sort of around the outside across a whole balcony and fight a bunch more enemies. But no, we just skip straight through. Somehow it just works. This is actually quite fast, I think.
Stand back. We're gonna blow them.
Well, goodness me, Americans.
And I always have to wait for Captain Price to run to the end. Try and clear the way as much as possible. This part's still a little strange to me. I don't quite know where all the enemies are or like why sometimes. Yeah, I don't know if I've cleared everyone here. Nope. There's more running around the corner.
Truck's out front, sir. Excellent. Help Captain Price out the window. He's been hurt.
That was a pretty quick price, I think.
Yeah, I think that was pretty good. Also, something I only discovered very recently, you can get out of the map, well, not out of the map, but like back to the beginning of the level by going prone under that truck. I thought they just blocked that off entirely.
Maybe that was the
Doesn't really
intention,
mean much, but...
Okay, Martin. We're about ready to ram the gate. Less than 10 minutes from your first shot to pull.
Now, this is another scary mission here. Basically, as soon as you shoot, the timer starts and the base gets alerted. Here we have this truck skip that...
I just failed to do.
Yeah, it saves a few seconds, but at the same time you can die.
It's also very
runs you
dangerous.
over.
Yeah, I mean, I made a quick save before it because I wanted to try and like show off here, I guess, but I missed it anyway. But
it is a hard timing since it seems to accelerate at pretty odd points.
This is actually not looking great right now.
You have a bunch of health here still.
I just know I don't seem to get many medkit drops in this level, except for that one guy. But I think this should be fine.
And just to say, if there were no quick saves, this section might look a lot different. Because, well, as you just said, you don't get many health drops, and sometimes you just get unlucky.
Yeah, sometimes they just land every bullet. Changes everything. But it's a lot easier to just sort of run through with maximum confidence when you have quick saves as often as you want. And that tends to help quite a bit.
It is, and with COD games I think it's fairly hard to judge when you should go full on forward and when you should stop and shoot.
It's definitely one of the biggest experience factors, I think. Like, more experienced runners, they just kind of know, like, how safe it is to go through people or not. Though you can always get tripped up by just very accurate enemies or anything like that. That's Act 1 finished. So now we actually get to slow down a little bit. I also like to watch how many times...
2 missions here.
Yeah, I like to watch this guy sneeze because, as far as we know, this is just completely random. He just has random animations that play. It's just a fun little game to see how many times he sneezes.
Can't see the water before. Oh, for God's sake, Jack. It's the biggest forest in Normandy. Pay attention. I am. It's not there. Well, perhaps they moved it. By my calculations.
So Pegasus Night is definitely the more exciting of the 2 Pegasus missions.
Definitely. I don't know. We have to find something to talk about in Pegasus Day. It's like 5+ minutes of just not really anything happening.
It is actually kind of funny because when I used to practice this game, like full runs, I used to just play a chess game when Pegasus Day was rolling, when you can just wait towards the end, just a quick
It's pretty fun.
Quick game of chess.
Find a safe spot to hide, and yeah, you just sit there for 5 minutes. I'm going to be running around shooting tanks, though. Make it at least mildly entertaining.
Is everyone all right? Mills?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just great.
Button up. Let's go. Let's go. Move, move. Come on.
Sergeant
So right here, I'm going to shoot early to alert the enemies and make my teammates move up faster. But if I shot while my screen was still blurry, I guess it soft locks or something. I'm not entirely sure. I just had seen someone else have issues with that and decided I wasn't going to do that. I got shot a lot there.
This is a really scary bit, but at least you have medkits here.
Yeah, that's very nice. A full 100 health medkits.
And even still, this level is pretty scary because the tank is there.
And all of these enemies can hit you quite a bit. And we need to run up as fast as possible to, like, progress everything.
So now we just hope that Price doesn't get shot, and he's fast.
Mills is way faster than Price. So if I had a bit better luck there, I would have been throwing grenades at Private Mills to make him run backwards. So now I have to go get him. So if I was very lucky, I could have held Mills sort of back on this bridge here, and now he has to turn around and run back to this gun, and that saves like a good chunk of time. But Price was really slow. Somehow I missed. There we go. That took like 3 tries for some reason.
This is what aim punch does to you, even on a huge turret. It for some reason kicks.
And now I just need to clear these enemies out as fast as possible, which just spam grenades. I've got a lot more grenades than usual because I didn't have to bully Private Mills with them.
And you were actually able to get close this time because you have lots of health. Sometimes you just get bullied by the enemies, so you have to stick back.
Well, that was pretty good. So there isn't another out of bounds here. It's not really actually useful. It's just a bit safer and easier. So the way this first action works is we need to kill... Well, basically, we need to wait 4 minutes and just defend, but we need to get 12 kills during that 4 minutes for it to progress at the end. And then after that 4 minutes, we run back across the bridge and wait 5 minutes. An extremely entertaining level.
After people found out that this is basically useless going out of bounds. I'm pretty sure people just do this to entertain themselves.
That's what
At least
I do.
for the first 4 minutes of this level.
You have to lead your shots by quite a bit on moving enemies in this game. Funny how they did that in some COD games. That's like not a thing, and in others it is. So I'm pretty sure I've already got my 12 kills, but I'm not really counting. I'm just doing more than enough to be sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter until, well, the 4 minutes is up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of questions, but none are coming to mind. I guess like, so, Kluger, you do a lot of Call of Duty speedrunning.
So
what draws you to one, pick one game to run for a while?
Oh, that's anything. I don't know. It varies all the time. So like I started on Modern Warfare 2, but I started running in like 2010. So, but I was doing mostly single level missions, like Spec Ops levels, things like that. So I didn't get into doing full game runs until 2020, basically. And I obviously started with MW2 there as well. And then I just picked whatever was interesting. So like COD 4 is an extremely similar game, basically all the same mechanics, but different levels. So that was the next one I went into. And yeah, just whatever games I find fun, basically, was what I picked.
Yeah, because I notice, I look through like everybody's runs when I ask them to, appear on the show, and because originally the plan a few months ago was to get you to show off Modern Warfare, but obviously you've moved on since then, so that's why I got you for Call of Duty 1. And so it's just interesting to see people transitioning between games. Like, I never would have thought about the fact that, like, yeah, they are kind of the same, 1 and 4, but it is just the strafe jumping all the way through, and more over playing games.
Yeah, there's quite often just like a few little key differences that you have to get used to, but it's very similar overall, a lot of level structure. So I also quite often stick to the Infinity Ward developed games because they're more fun to me in general, but they're also structured very similarly. And if you go play a Treyarch game, there's just like differences you'll notice as a speedrunner. Like Treyarch games often have more cutscenes, slower paced, things like that, and the movement isn't as fun in my opinion.
Now you're gonna have to remind me which of the newer games are Treyarch developed, because I used to know all this and then I forgot it.
So they started with World at War. Well, there's a few others before that, but the main games were World at War, and then all the Black Ops games is the Treyarch games. So basically, I've played almost all the games except the Black Ops series at this point.
And then
Really?
Cold War.
Yeah.
I really liked the Black Ops series. I thought it was interesting. But you're right. Now I'm thinking back on it, there are definitely way more cutscenes in that game.
People, I think, tend to prefer the Black Ops games because they do the story quite well, but that's just not really the reason I play video games.
Sure.
Like, yeah, everyone gets something different from playing video games. I'm all about the gameplay there. That was a little slow. Unlucky.
It is mostly because Black Ops games are more cinematic as well that they're not that great to speedrun. There are a lot of scripts that get broken if you go too fast or don't do things in certain ways. So there's a lot of risk there as well.
Soft locks are a lot more common in those games. And I guess one of the main things, it's quite common in those games you have to pace yourself to complete the objectives, where if you go too fast, you're going to soft lock. But if you go too slow, you're going to lose time. So you've got to be like right on that razor edge of completing the objective in the perfect time, and that's just not as fun to me to speedrun.
It really is a nightmare for any percent runs, just to kind of, well, take a gamble whether you're going to soft lock or whether I'm just going to guaranteed lose time.
Does that lead to a situation where like a lot of the top times are all clustered together because you know there's like a minimum time that you have to wait because you can't, you know, the skill is, there's a skill floor that's like pretty level.
It doesn't have as much of an effect overall on the run as I'm making it sound, really, but it's like people want to squeeze out every second, and there's just so many opportunities to soft lock in those games that it's a lot more difficult to like get fully into running that game and like really start optimizing it.
Yeah.
So
whereas with something
really
like Call of Duty 1 and Call of Duty 4, you can just be sprinting between everything as fast as possible.
Yeah. I mean, they still have a lot more
that is one of the
cutscenes
main
than
reasons. And as well that the soft locks are, well, because the game is ran more, we know what causes which soft locks most of the time, and we know how to avoid them. But with Black Ops games, since there are a lot more soft locks, it doesn't attract that much attention, and therefore a lot of the soft locks just aren't solved.
Yeah, so there's just a lot less attention on those games, and the fact that they have more soft locks to begin with, it's a bit of a snowball effect there.
That's pretty unfortunate.
Although, now that we are on stream, Black Ops 1 isn't nearly as bad as we're making all Black Ops games sound like. Black Ops 1 I actually recently tried to run a bit, and I got a decent time on it. It doesn't have that many soft locks, but there is this one bit that annoys me, so that's why I've been put off from doing any percent run.
And Black Ops 1 is probably the next Black Ops game I'll try eventually at some point. And after all that talk about how I don't like track games, and I have put quite a bit of time into World at War as well. So,
yeah, World at War I think had my favorite online that I've ever played.
It also is one of the only ones that have campaign co-op, which is a huge bonus to me. I really like co-op games. So being able to speedrun something I like in co-op is really fun.
We were talking about this a bit in the break, but have either of you tried any zombies like Easter egg speedruns? I think is the main thing that people do there.
I have not. I've played a little bit of zombies casually. I've done a few Easter eggs casually, but I've really not done much zombies at all.
Yeah, I have the same experience. I've watched a lot of zombie speedruns though, and they seem fairly interesting, and since I don't know any better, I'd say that I just don't like some of the RNG there, like having to rely on some certain power-ups and whatnot. At least on the shorter runs. I feel like they're optimized that well that it just becomes who has the best luck. Because there's a lot of runners, good runners there.
It's probably a bit like Minecraft in that way, right? Like a lot of luck, a lot of skill. But when everyone's that skilled at the top, it's just a lot of luck.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, that stuff's always been interesting to me just because of the way people figure it out, because it's not as straightforward as a campaign speedrun. Because there's actual like puzzles that they put in, which is wild to me. I can't understand how people figure some of those out.
Yeah, and I feel like it gets more interesting if you run some of the categories with multiple players, because there's so many strategies you can do with multiple players, and I'm 100% sure that the most optimized ways are still not found there. Maybe they have been in one player because there's not much you can do, but multiple players you can manipulate spawns and whatnot for the zombies, I imagine. But here, Yeah, we just have to clear this area, and that was actually fairly quick.
Favorite level coming up right now.
Best level. Have we touched on bunny hopping in this
we haven't
commentary
so,
yet? Yeah.
I guess I'll let you do that while I actually play the video game.
Right. So it only came to mind because of Vader Dam, but there is bunny hopping in this game that is different from the other COD games. In other COD games where we have sprint, we more or less we strafe jump and then we do another strafe because you get that much extra momentum from just strafing. It doesn't mean that bunny hopping doesn't exist in the other games, but it's more effective here since you don't have sprint and you're limited to just walking speed. So bunny hopping allows you to preserve some of that air momentum that you gain. Well, momentum you gain by air strafing. And it is especially viable on Vader Dam because the ground is always smooth. There are very few sections here that aren't. Once you go outside, there's a few grass spots, but other than that, it's very smooth, and bunny hopping through this level is really fun, and personally that makes this level my favorite on this whole game.
And it's a bit strange how bunny hopping works. Like, I'm actually not certain if it's exactly the same as the other games, but you preserve all of your speed off one hop, but if you do that and then do the next hop perfectly with that increased speed, you still lose quite a bit. So you don't get much more than you would get by just strafe jumping normally, but it's definitely a noticeable increase over not bunny hopping. But it's not something where you can just chain together like 8 perfect hops and really start flying away.
Yeah, putting this into numbers on flat ground, default walk speed is 190, and you can get some insane speeds here. I think, what would you say you get usually when you're bunny hopping?
The best hops, oh, there's 2 people here. Hang on a minute. Maybe 320, 330 on the best hops. Like that's after a second hop where you can preserve the speed at about 300 and then keep accelerating after that.
Right, so you would say maybe just a tad under 300 would be possible to keep up on a run like this if you're just talented at it.
Yeah.
Right, so from 190 to 290 and keeping that speed, it is actually a pretty big increase in movement speed. It's basically the sprint speed in the newer CODs compared to walking speed.
Wanted that medkit and then spent a few seconds in the sandbags for it.
But yeah, there's not much to commentate actually on this mission. It's just really fun to play. You just go fast and that's it.
And make sure you don't miss any of those bomb plants. I did that on my last run, my final practice run before this stream. Lost a good 50 seconds because I realized I had to go back for it.
Yeah, this game eats your inputs, at least some. So you should always just check up on the tab menu to see if you've actually completed the objective.
We should also clarify with bunny hops, this game doesn't let you bind things, or doesn't let you bind jump to mouse wheel, so I'm having to do all of these hops by timing spacebar at the correct time, which is considerably more difficult. But ever since I found out I can bind use to mouse wheel, I can scroll at those bomb plants and all of that stuff, and it's, oh my god, that guy is beating me up. And yeah, that helps quite a bit.
What would you actually say is this level? Well, not including the levels coming up where we just sit in a truck. what would you say is the most optimized level, considering time? Would you say it's Rocket or Hurtgen or this?
It might be this level. It depends how you consider that, really. Like, Rocket still has a lot more time to save. But it's... this level is also, like, really complex, really long. You can just save time everywhere. Like, it's really difficult to keep improving. This is a really good time on the aisle for this record. Plus, since it's a fun map, you know, more people put more time into it.
Yeah. Well, obviously, out of all the levels, Camp Toccoa is by far the most optimized, I'd say. But out of the actual longer levels where you play the game properly and you're not in some sort of training mode or restricted movement, I'd say this or Rocket is the most optimized.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. The incredibly scary skip is coming up here, where it's completely random if it works or not. So we'll see how lucky we get. It's like, I don't quite understand. It's somewhat based on, so we toggled the FPS to 5 so that we just skip past a trigger that triggers the next section that takes about 50 seconds. I'm going to stop explaining and actually like try and hit it real quick.
So I can take it from here, I guess, for a bit. So here we put the game into 5 FPS, and we hope that we skip this trigger that the truck drives over, and we make a save state just before so we can keep retrying it. It is entirely luck dependent, at least so it seems, and there we got it.
So what I've noticed recently is I need to toggle the FPS at a certain point, but that point that I need to do it at seems to change every run, which is very strange. So I need to just keep trying different timings until it works.
Yeah, I just think it's the client's way of rendering the game and just how it considers triggers and whatnot. I'd have to look into the code to dive into it further.
I also think it's likely. So quite often in this game there will be a 3-second fade in that we skip by restarting the level. And when we do that, we get like a consistent level seed. So the same enemies drop medkits and things like that. But this is one of the levels without a fade. So I assume if it did have a fade and we used a quick save off it, it would probably be the same timing to do that skip every time.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And we didn't actually say what the skip is, but we sit there while he plants explosives on the bridge and snipe people for about 50 seconds.
Yeah, so it saves a massive amount of time, and it is worth trying, even if it takes 10 tries. Well, maybe not 10. Let's just say it saves time if you get it in maybe under 8 tries.
It might be about 10. I mean, it depends where you put your save point and how quickly you decide you've missed it and all that stuff. But 10's not a bad estimate.
And perfectly played, I think this level is 3 minutes flat.
Yes, almost exactly. Oh, I got both. I haven't done that in a while. The dead truck keeps chasing us. That was cool.
I've never seen that, so that was definitely really cool.
The bloody hell's he doing? My God, we made it. I don't bloody believe it.
And we talked about this on and off action sort of thing. We just had the most fast-paced level of in the game. Basically, you go full sprint for the whole level, and then you get 2 levels that you just basically sit in a truck or
yeah, and
operate a flak gun.
And then we get 2 levels in a row where we sit in a boat for 2 minutes on each level. Although the first one is, once you get out of the boat, is quite fun.
Yeah, the latter one not so much.
This guy always destroys me on veteran. I don't know why. The only one.
But after the next 2 levels, I think the game is pretty much full speed. Except for 1 level.
Oh, I'm zoomed in. That's not what I want to do. It's a funny bug that we don't really have a use for. But you can be zoomed in on turrets if you're already zoomed in on a gun. And so nothing here actually matters as far as I'm aware, as long as you just don't die. It's kind of auto-scroller, and the time mostly just varies on if your teammate gets to his positions faster or not.
While this level was going, I took a look at the individual level records for this game, and it is actually pretty funny to see how the board has changed, even in a year.
Yeah, it's stuff can happen pretty quickly sometimes.
You mean Kluger happened? But no, there are actually some pretty good times as well, just below the world record mark on a few levels. Mostly due to COD 1 getting popular and people actually trying it out.
It's really cool when you get a bunch of people on the game at the same time.
I think more people should try this game, since I think it's a really friendly speedrun in the sense, since you have game saves, well, quick saves. You can try basically all of the skips and not even lose that much time, even if you fail it a couple of times. It's not that you have to be perfect. It's just, if you want to get world record, you have to get those skips fairly quickly.
Yeah. It's really interesting playing a game with quick saves, but I definitely like it after I've gotten used to it. It's definitely pretty fun. And yeah, even so, this is like a friendly game, like you said, but I also think it's one of the most fun COD games to try as well. And it's not very well known compared to most of the later ones.
Yeah, I think people are just put off because it is old, and I don't think that's a reason to put down a game, but that is one of the reasons why I never touched COD 1 or even considered it. I just thought it would be old and it would be slow. Like older games tend to be pretty slow.
The same for me too. I can't even remember what got me to try it in the first place, honestly. But when I did, I was like, oh, this is actually a lot of fun. And then yeah, just kept going with it.
I think it was more or less a mutual agreement sort of thing, since we were discussing on what we should move on to after we were done with COD 4, I think. And you were, well, after I'm done with COD 4 and you were talking about Modern Warfare 2, and we were wondering what COD game would be good to run, along with Blue, actually.
Yeah.
And we settled on COD 1 because it seemed interesting, and we had not tried it yet.
It was also, I think, part of my logic was it was another Infinity Ward developed game, and I just always liked their games. And yeah, that was correct again.
I think we might be having some internet problems in Discord. Oh, we're fine.
So we just wait here for a little while. Captain Price has to talk to everyone, infiltrate the enemy boat, all that stuff.
Fregattenkapitän Schmidt.
Gotta get ahead and wait for him.
Treffen mit Admiral Dönitz. Alles in Ordnung. Willkommen an Bord.
Once you get past the first 3 minutes of this level, though, I think it's probably my second favorite level after Dam. Just a lot of action, all that kind of stuff.
We should be able to get below to that height.
And this level has some interesting mechanics as well, if you do the skips.
I'm doing one skip. I'm actually not doing the ladder skip because I think it's not really faster than the way I do the ending now.
Okay, and it is riskier.
Yes, you can take a lot of damage on that sometimes.
Dürfte ich wohl Ihre Papiere mal sehen? Ich muss das überprüfen. Einen Moment bitte. Ich habe einen Offizier hier. Er sagt, er habe Papiere.
Hallo? Hallo? Grab a weapon and explosives, quick! The ship's boilers line passageways.
Also, just a comment out of the run right there when Price shoots that guy. I always wondered why, because if they got into the ship and the guy took their papers and found it valid, why would the other guy not find it valid? It was just
really
weird
not
to me
sure
why he takes that risk there.
Kind of funny. That actually went quite well.
Yeah, we almost have full health here as well.
All these doorways, they're so narrow.
I always get lost in this building. I always found it really hard to navigate for some reason, even though it's just basically a straight line and then you go up the staircase. But once I'm coming down from here, I just get lost in which floor I'm on and where I'm supposed to go.
Nice little window skip there. I'm actually going to wait for this thing to get out the way. There we go.
Right, so in this game, proning makes you kind of fly up a bit. It's kind of like a dolphin dive in a sense. So
it is actually, yeah.
Infinity Ward did it first. But that basically allows us to do window skip right there. So it is kind of a miniature jump that goes into prone midair. So we land in that window and then we crawl out, which definitely wouldn't be possible in the modern COD games.
Yeah, there's no way. And just to be clear, I'm not actually jumping. I'm walking forward and pressing my prone button, and that's it. And I basically just dolphin dive through the window. And it's very precise. More than I made it look. I actually made it first try.
Yeah, you have to be dead center on that window, else it will not work. It is actually really tight.
Also, Captain Price died in that level. Spoilers. I think they did say that dialogue at the end, but I don't know. That surprised me quite a bit when I played this game.
It is so anticlimactic as well. It just says like, he was a fine man. Come on, let's get out of here. This section is just basically we wait on this boat and we make sure to crouch, so these planes that shoot and drop bombs don't hit us, because that costs us some precious health.
This level is actually played completely as intended, right until we can get past everything at the end. But there's nothing we can do for most of it.
Yeah, this level is filled with death barriers.
Yeah.
And this level is more or less random. Depending on how you define random. If you consider the last enemy shooting at you to be random, then
this was actually kind of lucky.
Probably the worst RNG mission ever. You got really good line RNG here.
There's better, but not much.
So we just imagine grinding the IL world record for this. You first have to wait 2.5 minutes on a boat just to hope that you actually get into the line quickly.
Also, I don't know if you saw this new jump that I found here that saves maybe 2 seconds, but it's very difficult. So if you're really going for a world record, then you got to hit that as well.
I've seen you try it.
Okay, comrade. Same thing. You go first. Let's head for that red car over there. Wait for them to change out their barrels. Ready? Okay, go, go.
And I don't strafe or anything there, because if I go faster than holding W, you die. For some reason. You gotta go the exact right pace at the right time.
And this guy just is down there. He sees a guy running from your direction and he's still just ignoring you for whatever reason. But he manages to shoot the guy who runs down, so great.
And yeah, I missed the difficult jump I was talking about, obviously. Just did it the normal way. Get past everything.
Oh, you got really lucky there.
Yeah. This worked. You can get really bullied by that last MG, which isn't manned by anyone. It's just sort of an autonomous machine gun. It just shoots you.
I've actually not kept up with Stalingrad world record. Do you reckon that could be it? Because that was really quick.
No, I don't think so. I mean, no, because I missed one of the jumps. Like, I had to load a save real quick.
Oh,
it was pretty good, but yeah, I don't think it was quite it.
Oh yeah, you missed. Did you miss the? What is it called?
I missed the regular jump one time.
Thing? Oh no, yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It is definitely up there, though. Getting that kind of Stalingrad in a full game run is really rare. So.
Oh, this guy. Oh no, where's he gone? Oh, I don't like this level. I'm gonna try
the beginning of Red Square is really scary.
Very. Oh, I did it. That saved like 2 seconds by staying on the railing. Completely worth it.
It is actually pretty funny when talking about COD 1 levels. When you talk about the modern CODs and saving 2 seconds, you're kind of unimpressed. Because there's a lot of variation between the times, because there's a lot of RNG with the teammates and stuff like that. So if you say this trick saves 2 seconds, people will, well, if they find it at least a bit difficult, they just might not do it because it's really not worth it. But here on this game, every single second counts.
It's not worth throwing away that potentially good RNG by failing the difficult skip. This level has none. It's just go fast, which is pretty nice, but a very scary beginning section. Oh my god, he hit me. That's rare. These guys just ignore me. Very convenient. Also, lots of medkits around this level, which is kind of necessary. Yeah, so we're just running to the end as fast as possible here. One of those levels, it just has a trigger at the end. Finishes when you get there.
A lot of the levels in this game actually do just have a trigger at the end, or at least they don't require you to complete every single objective or scripted event. You can just speed your way through. There might be just one small objective to complete at the end and you're fine. And the next level, I think, is one of those as well. We just get to speed through.
That was actually pretty close to being dangerous. Thankfully, we get full health back here. I think that's the only level where you carry health over from one to the other. Where you quite often carry guns and ammo over. Very odd how they do that. And on Veteran, you don't carry health over on that level. Because that would be pretty rude when there's no medkits.
I just think this is a case of, well, it's the same time of day and you're continuing straight on from the last mission. I think they just had to cut the mission because, well, the engine or whatever couldn't support it at the time.
Yeah.
It would have been way too resource intensive.
I just did a skip there, but I'll be honest, I'm not even sure what I skipped. That was just something I always did as soon as I learned this game. I think that was a big section of running around a long way.
Yeah, we really made it seem quite unimpressive, that jump you did. It is actually quite a hard jump. It doesn't seem like it once a runner knows the jump, but it has fairly precise timing because the railing curves downwards. So it's really a tough timing to know when to jump there.
It's more awkward than difficult. It's one of those things that's just like really strange to do sometimes. I didn't even make it over the sandbags.
And there is an invisible barrier there, so that doesn't help.
Yes.
Comrades of the Soviet Union, there is no need for the slightest bloodshed between our nations. The German people are not your enemy.
And now we have the PPSH, probably the most inaccurate gun in the game.
Yeah, look at this hip fire radius. It's enormous. Although I think it's still smaller than on some of the newer games.
Yeah, it is definitely smaller than LMGs, at least.
No damage there, which is quite lucky. I can do this the fast way.
The weird thing is, though, that this gun is inaccurate even well in ADS. Or so it actually seems. I don't know if it is, but... Oh, okay. I thought you got stuck there, but...
I thought I did too. I just didn't say anything about it. Kept going.
So here we have really small amounts of health, so we just have to shoot at a few enemies because, well, they are fairly accurate here since you're so close to them. So taking the risk of not shooting anyone is not justified in any percent. If you're going for IL record, then fine by me, but here it's smarter to shoot at the guys. And we need the health for later as well.
Yeah, there's a few places where you take a lot of damage just from like fall damage from getting out of bounds, and that can make things quite difficult. It's the same on Rocket, is the second last level.
And here we usually need a lot of health, but for some reason you just didn't get shot there. I know that the guy on the left is the one that damages you the most, but it was still pretty clean.
I got hit a little bit, but he also dropped a medkit, so that helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, but any enemy with the MP44, they do I think twice as much damage as other enemies. So it can rack up the damage really quickly sometimes.
That is an order. Alexei will cover you with the sniper rifle from here. Now,
And now we just basically, we take out these snipers while our poor teammate is running across the field to bait them out.
He already got shot, I think, too. So they spawn in completely random windows, so I've just got to react to where I see them.
And I think we came into the conclusion that you can't really lose time here unless you take a lot of time shooting at the enemies, because your teammate runs up. And I think it's well, tied to him, how quick the enemies can spawn.
Yeah, I think that's true. So if I kill an enemy quickly, I'll often notice that he's just sort of just sitting in his position for quite a while sometimes. I knew it was that window, but I still couldn't see him.
It is really hard sometimes because it's gray on gray, so seeing them in some windows especially is really hard.
Yeah, it's on the windows with a light behind them. It's really easy, but you have to wait for the muzzle flash on the other ones.
I wonder actually, since this is the clearing portion of the house, would throwing grenades into the windows while you're running up do anything? I think it would help.
It did help a little, I think. Okay, that's actually clear. I don't have much ammo.
Surely you'll get some.
I hope so.
You might have to go into some enemy, yeah.
A little bit messy. It's also really hard for me to tell in this game still which animations are them actually dying and which are them just falling over. It's after a little bit of experience, you can tend to figure that out in most games, but I really have trouble in this one with that. And so this is another 4-minute defense section once we get this started. But it's not really like low on action or anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of enemies and it can get fairly tricky. Fairly tricky if you let the enemies too close or sit in some wrong spot, so to say. And this level was basically optimized fairly recently, actually, by you.
Well, not by much, honestly, a little bit. But yeah, so I found a little bit of a better ending strategy. You can start shooting enemies earlier than we realized, and you don't have to get as many cleared out by the time the timer runs out. It's just a bit more consistent than we used to think it was. But yeah, I like to try and let as many enemies run inside as possible, because I'm trying to farm ammo for this gun, and it's pretty rare for enemies to hold it. So. And those tanks, if you leave them alive, will just blow open sections of the house, which is kind of a surprising mechanic they have in a game this old. Like, I guess, destructible environments like that.
I think this game has some just things that the devs did just to show off that they can.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think he had one of the guns I'm after.
Berlin has destructible environment as well. But not many other levels. Wait, well, the tank drives, they have the trees that fall over and everything.
I think you can drive through some buildings and walls on those as well, maybe. Or maybe this can give you an added offensive.
You can definitely destroy some buildings, or at least some walls from them, but I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff in such an old game.
Yeah, very impressive.
Honestly, I think this game really just lacks the animations when comparing to, let's say, MW, like COD 4.
They do look really
If you
funny. When your teammates are running around like crouch sprinting around.
Yeah, and look at this hipfire radius.
Yeah.
I actually haven't paid attention to that, but it is basically ADS. But yeah, what I was saying is, if we compare it to, let's say, COD 4, we just have more animations in COD 4. A lot of the mechanics that we have in this game, or in COD 4, are also in this game. So it makes sense why it feels good to play as well, because it really doesn't miss much. The only main thing is sprint. And on the topic of the run, this is the strat that Luger was talking about. He starts killing these enemies just before the reinforcements arriving is ending, and this makes it so that the enemies don't have time to spawn back in, but you get those kills for the objective sooner, so you have more time to shoot the enemies that are still remaining after the objective activates.
Normally it wants you to kill 13 more enemies after that, but you can get it down to like the last enemies are already spawned in and running at you, so you can be down to like 1 remaining very soon afterwards. That's a pretty big difference, especially with how random enemies are in these games. It's incredibly difficult to run around and find 13 enemies consistently quickly, because they can be anywhere.
Will be re-educated with them if the NKG.
This level is one of those fun levels as well, although it has a lot more shooting.
The dangerous levels tend to be the fun ones, I find.
Yeah, and this level is kind of dangerous in some bits. You can get a lot of damage dealt to you, but usually this level is pretty safe if you just play it safe. Like here, it's pretty unlucky that you got dealt that much damage. The enemies just decided to be really accurate.
I did also get stuck on a staircase, which doesn't help, but yeah.
Yeah.
Then I've got to get through this area. But the one enemy that can shoot me is like all the way back there behind pillars and everything, so I shouldn't get shot too much, but you never know. Oh my god, they drop down so low sometimes.
And then we have this cool skip where we prone out of the window.
Again, I'm not even sure how much that skips. That's just one of those things I've always done.
Yeah, I've actually never played this level the normal way. I'm glad some people did more optimization before we picked this game up, but I'm sure it is a significant skip since you are on the top floor and there is no staircase in sight. I assume you just go down a staircase and run through that hangar.
Oh my god, that was a huge boost. So sometimes when falling off a high spot, if you time your B-hop correctly, it just kind of gives you extra speed. But it's kind of strange in certain areas.
And this level, Railyard, is the shortest level of this run, if it goes well.
Oh my god.
Of course, disregarding Camp Takoa, but of the real levels, this is the shortest one.
That went all right. I was really close to dying.
That's pretty good.
Oh, there was a grenade like right here on the ground and a teammate just standing here blocking me. And now into
the fun levels.
This level is, it's definitely my worst level. Tanks are just tough to deal with. I can't strafe. Makes everything more difficult.
Tank Drop Country is not nearly as dangerous as Town is, but I'd say Country is harder in that sense.
You can lose so much time just by like not hitting all your shots in this level. Yeah. because you're sniping tanks from like all the way over there.
Town is more or less just taking out the enemies that you really need to take out and praying for the best that you don't get hit too much. Which is why save states can really mess you up on that level. On this level it's fairly safe, but oh, that was a
yeah,
gorgeous shot
there. Oh, no, I'm choking. Nice.
And it's not sometimes it's not even about missing your shots, it's just the tank's taking 2 shots to kill, because why not?
And also the tank cannon seems to, it's really not good. Seems to like sway slightly as you swing it around. So when you're aiming those really long distance precise shots, it can kind of just like sway you off course every now and then.
That and the fact that the terrain is really not really not even at all. So it just bumps you up and down. It's not a fun time. This seems to be okay though. I don't think there's not much danger here.
I think I'm gonna have to get pretty unlucky here, yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but you still should have more than enough health to
I think I can take 2
handle
more
the
hits
rest
maybe.
of this mission. Yeah, I think you should shoot a few, but you should be fine though, because most of the tanks just kind of drive forwards and they ignore you, or they just don't hit you.
Yeah, these are all missing. Sometimes these guys hit all their shots and it's crazy, but not this time.
And now for the actual scary tank mission, and also a pretty big run killer, I'd say.
This hasn't gone wrong for me in a while, so now's the time. His is looking pretty good.
Yeah, you have good health here. It's just this next bit can deal a lot of damage, but I think you should have more than enough even if you get hit here a lot, because the ending isn't that scary.
Yeah, I've decided just going fast through there is better than trying to shoot the other tanks, because you're just in the danger area for less time.
Yeah, and I find that the tanks don't even do that damage. It's the guys with the RPGs or Panzerfausts or whatever they had in that era.
There's like 4 of them back there, so yeah, there's... Gonna ignore that guy, it'll be fine.
Yeah, you have so much health to spare.
Yeah, we're on the last
That was a really clean tank town.
So this level, your teammate can just teleport to you at the end and lose 20 seconds, and I still don't know why. It happened to me last run on what I thought was a very quick completion of this level. I used to think that teleport was based on how fast you went, but I'm not so sure anymore.
Yeah, I thought that too. It's that bit when he actually does the dialogue, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was just being slow, but
I actually thought I was on pace for a world record on this level on my last run, and then he teleported, and I was like, okay, not expecting.
I'll just have to look into the code then, because it's just a lot of levels have these things that we assume, and then one guy has this one thing happen that just completely invalidates
every
our
theory.
theories. Yeah. And you throw grenades there to clear out
he did it
the
again.
black gun area a bit more. So there's a bunch of enemies here, and normally you would have to either stop and shoot them, or like strafe and shoot them and risk losing time and risk that the teammate teleports to you. But since Kluger threw those grenades, he can just straight up get on the flak gun and shoot the tank.
That guy getting away with my shot. Yeah, so like turning the flak gun takes so long. Wait. I'm not. Did he teleport back? Wait, what is he doing?
Is this?
Oh, I've never seen that before. He was like out of position, and then he had to run back to start his dialogue. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Even slower.
All right, Evans, we'll head east.
Here's a really cool suit coming up.
So, while you're clearing these enemies and making your way towards the skip, I'm just going to explain it a bit. So, this level is surrounded by these minefield triggers, and once you get into the radius of one of these mines, it starts a random timer on when it's going to blow up. I don't remember exactly what the timing was, but when I looked into the code,
1 second. It was,
yeah, it was significant enough that it can turn this skip really easy or make it impossible. So we'll see how it goes. But we basically bounce off this sign to get a bunny hop that gives us this extra speed to do this skip. And if we get lucky enough with the mines and their timers, we should not blow up. And we should get past this field. Yeah.
This guy is also shooting
this can
me
be really
whereas
hard.
I'm doing this, which I don't know if I want to like deal with that. There we go. That didn't even feel like it was going to work. I think I got quite lucky there.
Yeah, that was a pretty long timer there. It's a shame that it is actually on a float timer, or like a random float, rather than having it set to something. But then again, they might have set it too low if it wasn't a random float, so...
If they set it to 0.5, the skip just wouldn't exist, and it would be, yeah, a lot more sad. And so this is another one of those examples where I fall out of bounds very fast, so I needed to lose like not really any health in the first half of the level, which made those guys shooting at me as I was doing the skip quite dangerous. There was one of those attempts there where he did like more than enough damage before I'd even made it across. Getting it back in bounds is always very interesting in this game.
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, we used to call it ice skating back when I did glitches a lot, and that was actually really clean.
It was. I practiced that a lot, but then sometimes it just goes wrong anyway, but that's how it should usually go. Oh my god.
And now we hope for good tank RNG, basically. So we have these tanks at the beginning of the mission that progress the more you progress. So you have to destroy these flak guns, and once you get them destroyed, the tanks will progress more and more. And basically, we still have not figured out what exactly causes the tanks to move up, because it seems random. the tank works in 6-second cycles. It blows up this wall that we need to get through to progress, and it blows it up in 6-second cycles. And sometimes the tanks, even if you are as quick as you can be, and you have the same timings as ever, the tank can just randomly lose, 12 seconds.
So this is
for no reason whatsoever.
This isn't an insanely fast or slow tank. I think this is reasonably normal, like the middle cycle.
Yeah, this is the second of the normal cycles, and it's pretty good.
That's not good. I accidentally left a guy alive there.
This bit can be a bit scary sometimes.
I'm
The machine guns can
right
just
now.
destroy you, but now they're just not shooting at you, which is obviously really good.
That was one of the luckiest times I've ever had in that section. To get hit by anything.
It's good that we're demonstrating the good side of this game, at least. You have a bunch of health here. I'm really jealous of the amount of health you have.
Not anymore. I did
Well,
those
I'm
guys.
glad you had that health then.
I really needed it. I shot those guys in the wrong order though. So time is coming up in about 15 seconds here, maybe. It's when it cuts to black at the end here. And there's time.
Mother, a few days ago, we waved the flag.
Overall, I think a pretty good run. I don't recall
I didn't have
any. Yeah,
I didn't have a
That's
timer
really
up, so I'm
major,
not sure,
major
but
time losses there.
It was pretty good, I think. I have no idea what pace I was on, but nothing felt terrible. The rocket
Yeah, the final time seems to display 1:32:43.
That's quite
with
good.
loads, obviously.
Yeah.
So
So my
real
loads
time.
take a little over a minute. So yeah, that's quite good. Right around what I wanted.
Yeah, 1:31 is actually really good. Yeah, it's basically, it is your average run nowadays, I think.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Okay, that was really enjoyable to watch. Just getting all the nostalgia hit from remembering that game. So, if people want to learn this game, should they go to the Call of Duty Discord? Is that a good place?
Yeah,
Definitely.
Lots of people willing to help out there. Experiencing all kinds of games. All kinds of Call of Duty games.
Awesome. Are there any tutorials or anything for it, or should they just ask questions, check out record, that kind of stuff?
Generally, that kind of
I
stuff.
think-
I'm not sure if Code 1 has tutorials, actually. There's maybe a few level-specific things. Most of the Modern Warfare games have the full tutorials.
Yeah, at least COD 4 and MW2 have full tutorials. COD 1, I don't think it does. Maybe we should get on that at some point.
I probably should while I'm
Thanks.
actually still remembering this game right now.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it would be
Well,
good for new runners, so.
Yeah, thank you very much. And end out the night, just have a few quick announcements. If people missed the Call of Duty 1 run, the Call of Duty 4 run, or the Ocarina of Time randomizer from earlier, they can check it out at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you'd like to check us out on Twitch, go to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick every weeknight at 7 p.m. Eastern and every weekend at 1 p.m. Eastern. And finally, SGDQ 2022 on-site volunteer applications are open until April 20th. So if you're checking that out, make sure to get those in by tomorrow. Plenty of things to do: stage tech, stream tech, camera operator, photography, donation station, and all that. Go to gamesdonequick.com to check it out. If you want to come see GDQ in person, I'm doing producer stuff there, so I'll be there. I'll be doing things. Games Done Quick Highlights is a channel that features highlights of GDQ HotFix shows. Exclamation point highlights in chat to see that channel. There's definitely going to be a few from this show. And with all that said, tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern for Mercy Kill and Never Before Seen. Thank you all, and we'll all see you in 2 weeks.